What's going on, everyone? My name's Mark, and I'm a part-time reseller on online websites like eBay and Poshmark. I primarily resell men's clothing, and in this video, I'm going to do a compilation of all my sales, or not maybe all, but the majority of my sales for the second quarter 2026. I'll let you know what I paid for the item. I'll let you know what it sold for and how long it took to sell. This is going to be a long one, but it's going to be a good one if you got to cut the grass, if you're driving, riding the train, something like that. You can put it on. It's going to be packed with information. Let's go ahead. Let's dive right in here. Great flip here. A brand name is Ermanno Scarvino. This is an Italian brand. This is 100% linen. It's got embroidery on it. And this sold for $75 on Poshmark. Now, originally I had this listed at 100, 110, somewhere in there on Poshmark. And someone sent an offer for 50. I countered at 75 and they accepted. This brand is very expensive. These types of items, it's not uncommon to see them go over $1,000 on their website. Not just this, but anything from Ermanno Scarvino sells very well. I don't know a ton about the brand. Definitely comment if you do. This is my first time finding it, but this was only a $6 buy cost, and this sold pretty quick. This sold in about 3 months. Started getting tons of views as we started getting into warmer weather. So might have been able to hold out for more money, but can't really complain when you turn $6 into 75 or you sell it for 75. Awesome flip here. Brooks Brothers Loro Piana women's blazer, black blazer with the gold buttons. This sold for $89 on Poshmark and was a $6 buy cost. This sold very quick. This sold in just a couple days, and definitely this blazer has so much going for it. Here you can see the Loro Piana tag, just in case you're not familiar. That's something to keep an eye out for. Even if it's on just like an average brand, it's going to boost the value of it. So glad to have this thing moved. Sometimes these type of items can sit, and I do not like the heavy fees from Poshmark, but whatever, it did sell for $89 and great flip overall. Great flip here, Brooks Brothers window pane blazer. This model here is the Madison, the Brooks Cool, which is more of a summertime sport coat or blazer. This was a $6 buy cost. I sent an offer for $57.50. The person accepted, and this sold very quick. This sold in just a few days. So this Brooks Brothers men's pinpoint Oxford, nice blue classic color here. This sold for $24.70. I had a 10% coupon going and someone used it, knocked the price down. This was a $5 buy cost. It took about 3 months to sell. Sold this new at Tags Express double-breasted coral blazer. This is a women's blazer. This sold for $37 on Poshmark. Thought this was a very respectable offer. I had it listed, at 42, but usually those Poshmark offers, you list something at 42, the offer comes in at like 20 or 15. It's something ridiculous. So this was a $6 buy cost. This sold quick. This sold in just about 2 or 3 weeks. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's sport coat. Nice item here. This sold for $50. Had it listed at $60 and sent an offer to someone who accepted it. This was a $6 buy cost. This sold quick. This sold in just about a week. Sold these Allen Edmonds dress shoes for $45, full asking price. Now these are loafers, and the model here is the Manchester. Really a nice pair of slip-ins. You've got the tassel on top. Very decorative. These were a $7 buy cost, and these sold very quick, which is definitely good. These sold in just about a week. Sold this Ralph Lauren men's green plaid shirt for $19. This was a bins pickup, so probably just about a $1.50 buy cost. Now on the downside, this took a very long time to sell. It took about a year to sell, even though this shirt does have this logo or emblem on it, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought that would help move it. Probably should have done like a square in the corner showing that. I don't think I did that. and I didn't do a very good job of marketing that feature. Sold this Brooks Brothers Madison Fit Men's White Pinpoint Oxford for $26 on an offer. This was listed out at $30. This sold quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Wachovia Championship Vintage Men's Golf Cap for $18. This was a $2 buy cost and took about 6 months to sell. Now, this is not technically vintage because it's May 2006, the dating on here, and it's actually April 2006 right now. But, you know, who cares? Whatever. I think it's close enough. And good item and good hat here. I've got a couple more of these in the store as well. Sold these vintage Ralph Lauren Polo Jean Company men's blue jeans for $25 on an offer. This is not the greatest item, I think, here. This did take a while to sell. It took about 7 months. The vintage didn't seem to help it. Neither did the Polo Jean Company. I don't really know a ton about Polo Jean Company, other than it's part of Ralph Lauren. If you know a lot about it, or if you know something about it, definitely comment, let me know. This, I believe, was a $7 buy cost, and there's the tag for the back of these jeans. This, again, was a $7 buy cost. It took about 7 months to sell this. Sold this new with tags men's express shirt. This is a long sleeve, and again, it is new with tags with kind of a funky pattern here. Almost didn't pick it up. This sold for $22, was a $5 buy cost, and probably best of all, this sold very quick, just about 2 weeks. I was not expecting that. Sold these Brooks Brothers men's dress pants for $27 on Poshmark. Kind of went back and forth with the guy for a while and thought 27 was the best I was going to be able to get for this or sell this for. This sold quick, though. This sold in just about 2 weeks and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Paul Frederick men's banker shirt for $15. Now, this took a long time to sell. This took about 8 or 9 months, and normally I won't sell stuff, you know, $15 or so unless it's just a complete loser. I didn't think this thing was that bad, but given the offer and given how long it's been in the store, I decided to go ahead and accept this. This was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Gap men's chambray shirt. Good item here. It's new with tags. This sold for $25, was a $5 buy cost. This took about 5 months to sell. Sold this Brooks Brothers Pinpoint Oxford blue color here for $40.50. Now, this is new with tags, and this sold pretty quickly. This sold in just about 2 weeks or so, and I had it listed at $45. Someone applied a 10% off coupon. $5 buy cost on this. These Brooks Brothers Pinpoint Oxfords, they've been selling like crazy in my store, making me some good money as they add up. Sold this Lululemon Everywhere a belt bag for $22.50. This item I did get for free. So all profit on this one, and this sold quick. This sold in about a week or two. But from what I could tell, I did sell this around market price. This wasn't like a $40, $50 item that I just undersold like crazy. Glad to have this thing out of the store. Sold this Brooks Brothers White Pinpoint Oxford dress shirt. This sold on a coupon that I had. So I listed it at $30, 10% off, marked it down to $27. This sold quick. This sold in just a couple weeks and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Eaton men's tuxedo shirt, white tuxedo shirt. Very nice item here. This was a $5 buy cost. This sold for $44. I had it listed at $48. Great flip, obviously, here. And this sold pretty quick. This sold in just about a month. Sold this Duluth chore jacket for $33 on an offer. Really nice piece here. Unfortunately, this did take a while to sell. This took about 7 or 8 months. I only had it listed at $38, $39, I think, which I thought was a fair price for this. Of course, it did sell for $33. This was a $7 buy cost, but just look at all the pockets on the front here. You got pockets here, you got pockets here, Nice canvas on the outside. Really a shame that this does not go for more. Sold this Deloitte men's quarter zip for $20 on an offer, or I should say someone used one of my coupons, knocked it down to $20. This was a $5 buy cost. This took a while to sell, about 7 to 8 months. Deloitte is a Big Four accounting firm. The brand on this is Timberline, Colorado. Don't think that's anything special there. And I do believe that this is vintage, but this is a nice clean item. Hopefully the person does not return it. Sold this Saddlebred men's plaid blazer here for $30. I think I listed this out at $35 and took the $30 offer on this. Possibly it was a coupon, but I know it settled at $30. This was a $6 buy cost. It sold very quickly, just about a week or two. And I was a little bit iffy on this color here. I definitely love this window pane pattern, but the color made me a little bit nervous. I think that's one of the reasons I did take the offer at $30 and maybe not just hold out a little bit longer. Sold this Peter Millar Summer Comfort striped shirt for I think it was $20.50. I had a coupon or something. It was $23 and someone marked it down 10%. So this was a $5 buy cost, I believe. And this took a little while to sell. It took about 6 months or so. I believe I picked this up in sometime in like November or October of last year. I can tell by the SKU number. So it does make sense. It wasn't going to sell in the winter. Definitely a summer item here. Sold this Brooks Brothers Madison men's white pinpoint Oxford for $25, a $5 buy cost here. This sold pretty quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. Been selling lots of these and grabbing them too when I see them out. Good flip here. Interesting flip here. Brand name is Built, B-I-L-T, and these are welding jeans or really heavy workwear jeans. You know, if you're on your knees all day, you can see here that there are actually knee pads, hard knee pads inside. You know, it's not double stitched. It is double stitched, but it's also got knee pads inside here. And these were a bin find. I remember grabbing these at the bins and just being like, what is this? This has got to be something. And these normally, you know, when I looked them up, I remember they were going between about 40 to 50. Now I ended up accepting an offer for 30 on these. These have been in the store about 7 months or so, and probably like a $5 buy cost. But I figured it would probably be a while till someone else came along this specific size and wanted this specific, you know, everything, and everything would match up. So I did take the $30 offer, although I had these priced, I think, around between $40 to $45. Sold these Public Rec pants for $22.40. Someone used a coupon in my store and knocked down the price. I think it was the coupon was at 10%, or maybe it was the 20% off discount I had. Anyhow, these sold relatively quick, about 6 weeks, and were a $5 buy cost. Comment, let me know if you're picking up Public Rec still. I've heard good, you know, a lot of people say a lot of good stuff about this brand, but it doesn't seem like it sells super quick for me. So it doesn't seem like it sits forever either. It's not the worst thing. I'm kind of on the fence on it. Sold these Nebraska Crocs. I'm not sure if these are men's or women's. Now, I did get this a while ago at an Amazon return store. I think this was just $1, and I decided to take a shot on it, thinking this might go pretty well. Someone might just love the all-over print on it, and it could sell well. Well, I was definitely wrong on that. This took forever. It took about a year, maybe 13, 14 months. And, you know, finally sold for $14. But again, not a big buy cost on this. But this one, the slow movers like this, I definitely don't want them in my store. Sold this new at Tags Tommy Hilfiger men's belt. Nothing super special here, but this was free, so $0 buy cost on this. This sold for $20 on an offer, and it was originally listed at $25. Took about 4 to 5 months to sell. Sold this J. Jill women's seersucker blazer for $26.50. Now, this has been in my store about 6 or 7 months. I think I got this in September or October. and someone did use a coupon or a disc one of my sales, bought it through one of my sales. This was a $6 buy cost. Seersucker definitely sells great this time of year. Sold this Brooks Brothers Madison Fit White Pinpoint Oxford for $26, $5 buy cost here. This sold quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. Actually saw one of these today. I had to pass it up because it just had too much staining around the neck. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren men's corduroy pants for $22. This was a $5 buy cost here. These took a while to sell. They took about 10 or 11 months. Sold these Nike Tour Performance men's golf pants for $20. Now this is an item I would not really recommend getting, these Nike Tour Performance golf pants. They don't seem to sell. This one sold for $20. This has a pretty cool faint herringbone pattern there, but it's got a long inseam as well, so that helped move it. But you know, just regular sizes. I've got a couple of these in my store and just crickets. Nothing happening with them. This was a $5 buy cost here. Sold these Carhartt pants for $22. Nothing too special here, and this was a bins pickup, so probably about $3 buy cost or something. This model here, I believe, is like the relaxed fit twill or something. I don't know a ton about Carhartt compared to most resellers, but this item sold relatively slowly, I would say. It took about 5 or 6 months to sell, and it wasn't really priced aggressively either. I think probably this is more of like obviously a $20 to $22 item, not really an item that's going to sell for like $25 to $28, which is what I think I had it listed as. Sold this vintage Wake Forest University sweatshirt. I think this is a men's, maybe a women's, I can't really remember. Brand name here is Sophie. You can see that, made in USA. This sold full asking price, $33, was a $5 buy cost, and this took about 2 months to sell. Sold these Ermenegildo Zegna pants for only $20. Now this item is damaged. It does have a stain right there on the butt. You can see, not terrible or anything, but when you have dress pants and you get some sort of stain like that, if you can't get it out on a shirt, dress pants, it's really going to hurt the value for a lot of brands like this. This normally probably would go like 35 to 40. Anyhow, this did take a while to sell too. It took about 5 months and was a $5 buy cost. Sold these J. Crew men's chino pants. Nice spring color here. These are pink or salmon, and these are new with tags. So good item here for the buyer. They got a good deal. I had this listed at 30. I think I sent an offer for 25. They countered at 20, and I decided just to go ahead and take it. Even though this item has not been in my store too long, it's only been in my store about a month and a half or 2 months. Sold this Bonobos men's blazer for $45 on an offer. This is lightweight wool, and it's from this Marzotto mill, Italian mill. I actually found 2 of these the same day. It was in one of my thrift hauls. This was a $6 buy cost, and I listed it out at $60. Took the offer for the lowest that I would accept on this, $45. Always hate it when I see I got an offer and like I know what the lowest is and like the person's right at the absolute lowest. Like it couldn't just be like $46 or $47. Anyhow, this was a very quick flip, sold in just a couple days. Guess I shouldn't complain about that. Sold this Faraday women's light sweater, nice coastal feel to it. Faraday, of course, if you're not familiar, there's the logo. Good brand to be on the lookout for many things. This sold for $28 on eBay, a $5 buy cost. It took about 3 months to sell. Sold this Giorgio Armani Le Colazione shirt. Now this is 100% rayon. This sold very quickly. It sold in just a day for $30. And, you know, being 100% rayon, very lightweight. It's not as good as linen, but perfect for this time of year. $5 buy cost. This sold for $30 on an offer, and it was a repeat buyer. That's something I don't see. I would like to see more of that, but overall, very happy with this flip here. Sold this Vineyard Vines on the go boys blazer here. There you can see the logo there. Size or age 10, or I'm not sure if it's size 10 or age 10, but it's for 10-year-old boys. This sold for $32 on an offer, had it listed at $40. Went back and forth with the person, and we settled at $32. Now, this is an item I could have held out possibly longer, probably got a little bit more, but I kind of felt like there's a short window here where parents are going to be buying this type of stuff for their kids, for weddings, different things like that, summer events. So I decided just to go ahead and sell it, just go ahead and just get rid of it. This was a quick sale. This sold in just like 2 weeks or something. Was a $6 buy cost, so about a $20 profit on this one. Sold this Peter Maglar Summer Comfort. Ballantine Country Club is that logo right there. This sold on Poshmark for $23, a $5 buy cost. Good item here. This sold pretty quick, like 6 weeks, I want to say. Poshmark, of course, takes those high fees, so not as much profit as I would like, but this was a relatively quick sale. Sold this Polo Ralph Lauren men's tie. Has this nice all-over print shield thing you can see here. This only sold for $12. The tie is a little bit damaged. You can see there on the end. This took, I want to say, about 4 or 5 months to sell and was a $2 buy cost. Good to have this thing moved. Would not have bought it with that damage on the end. Flip here, Flint & Tinder, good brand to know. This is the 365 utility jacket. It sold for $105 on an offer. Had this listed originally at $125, and this was only a $6 buy cost. Definitely some great profit on this one. This also sold quick. It sold in just about a month. Sold this TaylorMade driver for, I believe this sold for $44. I think someone used a coupon on it. It was listed at $48. This sold very quickly. This sold in just a couple weeks. Right away, I started getting offers in the 30s and decided to kind of hold out. Now, with an item like this, since I do it part-time, I do have to kind of be strategic around when I'm going to sell it, because I definitely don't want to go to the post office and stand in line on certain days of the week where it's not convenient. But overall, definitely excited about this flip. We'll continue to look for golf clubs, baseball bats, baseball gloves, which can definitely make good money. This was only $2 at Goodwill. Sold this Canali men's blazer jacket for $76 on an offer. I had this listed, I think, at $100, and my minimum was $75. Someone offered $76. I just decided to take it because this was only a $6 buy cost, and this sold pretty quickly. This sold in about 2 months. Had lots of watchers on it. Probably could have waited, gotten in the 80s, maybe the 90s. But I decided to go ahead and just take the money on this one. Canali, in case you're not familiar, good, really good brand with lots of different things that can resell well. Shirts, pants, suits, all that stuff. Be on the lookout for it. Awesome flip here. Brand name is Reese or Rice. I'm not really sure. But this is a nice women's cover-up dress here, linen blend, and of course it is new with tags. I listed this out at $90 and sent an offer to someone for $80. The woman responded with a $71 counter offer, so I did take it. I did accept it. This sold in just about a week and was a $6 buy cost. If all flips could be like this, life would definitely be good. Cool item here. This is a Buffalo Sabres NHL men's vintage Puma jacket. And this thing is definitely really unique and something that stood out when I saw it in the store. It's got the it's got the logo on the back. This sold for $68. I believe that was full asking price. And this was an item that had been in my store about 5 or 6 months, maybe. Priced it up a little bit higher. Probably could have sold it quicker. A $7 buy cost on this one. Sold this J. Crew Oarsman men's tartan plaid sport coat for $90 on eBay. Terrific flip here. Terrific sale. And just in case you are not familiar with the Oarsman, that is line from J. Crew, a premium line that sells pretty well for certain things. Obviously, sport coats, it's going to do very well. This, I listed out at $125 just to start, and I think I sent an offer for $100 to someone, and they countered at $90. I went ahead and accepted. This was a $6 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just about 4 or 5 days. Sold this Roan Top Flight vest. Now, this is new with tags. Really a good find, and only a $7 buy cost. A good find at Goodwill. This was on one of my recent haul videos. It does have this Nature Valley on the back, but that did not seem to affect it. This sold for $51 on Poshmark. Now, I was negotiating with someone and actually sent out, I think, an offer for like 46 or 47. And as that person was kind of thinking, I got the $51 offer from someone else and just accepted it. This did not take long to sell. Surprised me. I thought that Nature Valley might hurt it. This sold probably in about a week. Sold this Carolina Panthers hat. Now, this was my hat that I wore to a lot of games, tailgates, all that good stuff, game day Sunday. This was obviously free, or I bought it a long time ago. Only sold for $10.45, but it's very worn in, and I honestly forgot this was in the store. This took forever to sell. It took about 15 months to sell. Really probably something I probably should have just thrown in the donate pile, but I ignored it, and it's going to make me a little bit of money. Hopefully someone has as much fun in this hat as I did. Sold these new with tags Perry Ellis men's pants for $15. Now, the inseam on these are a 34. I think that's one of the things that pushed me to buy this. This was definitely not something I would pick up again. Perry Ellis is just not a good brand. I believe this is like a polyester or polyester blend. These dress pants, and people really want wool or cotton when it comes to, you know, dressier things. They're going to want wool, more casual cotton. This was a $5 buy cost, and I think this took about 4 or 5 months to sell. I sent an aggressive offer to someone, that $15 offer. Really wanted this out of the store. Good sale here, good flip. Brand name is the Vermont Country Store. Nice denim button-up shirt dress, women's button-up shirt dress. I have sold this brand before. Last time I sold it, I got about 40, but the piece was bigger. I think it was a meaty dress. This was a $6 buy cost. It sold for $35. It did take a little while to sell. It took about 6 months to sell. But I would recommend picking up this brand if you find it, if you find an item like this. Vermont Country Store, they make pretty good stuff, and it tends to sell, you know, get you a little bit of a profit. Not a super fast mover, but it can make you a little bit of money. Sold this J. Crew sport coat for $40. Now, this was a $6 buy cost, and this sold pretty quick, about 2 weeks. Now, I went back and forth with someone today on this. I think this was listed out at like 50 or something. They offered 35, and I was going to take the $35 offer, but when I looked at this, this had like 7 or 8 watchers, had just so many views. So I decided to counter at 40 and know that someone is just going to come along and I could come along and buy it. I knew I could get more than 35. So he did accept at 40, and he accepted quick. Sold these new tags, Vineyard Vines men's performance shorts. These took about 2 months to sell. It is the 8-inch inseam breaker short. Pretty much kind of a no-brainer when you see this in my thrift store, because these are only $5. Shorts are only $5. So selling for $25, not a huge profit, about a $15 profit. And this sold pretty quick. This sold in about 2 months. Sold these LL Bean men's khaki chino pants. These are new with tags, and these were a $5 buy cost. These sold pretty quick. These sold, I think, in just about a month, maybe 6 weeks. And they sold for, I think, $28 or $29 with the discount I offered. Anyhow, good item here, and I think I just bought another one of these like a week or 2 ago that I have in my store as well. Sold this Ralph Lauren men's blazer. This is a silk wool blend. This sold for $35 on an offer. It took about 4 months to sell and was a $6 buy cost. Don't skip out on, just these Ralph Laurens with the silk wool. They can make you a little bit of money. It's obviously not a ton, but, the better patterns are going to get you more. But good item, or pretty good item here, and a decent flip on this one. Sold these women's Polo Ralph Lauren seersucker pants for $30. This was a $5 buy cost, and these took a little while to sell. They took about 6 months or so. Got them in the fall, and always, Polo Ralph Lauren, you see seersucker, pretty much a no-brainer to pick it up, in my opinion. Sold this University of Toledo men's sweatshirt, quarter zip here for $25. As you can see, it is new with tags, and the brand is Champion. Nothing super special, but, this was a $5 buy cost, something I was not going to leave behind because this stuff can make you a little bit of money. It did take a little while to sell. This took about 7 months to sell, so definitely not a quick mover. Sold this Brooks Brothers Thomas Mason line men's dress shirt for $30. I believe this was listed at $34 or $35. This is a good line from Brooks Brothers, definitely high quality, and this sold pretty quick. This sold in about 2 months, was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Madewell women's pants. Now these are, the model here is the Harlow. These are 100% linen and wide leg. Perfect this time of year. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold for $25. Possibly there's a discount that's going to knock it down. So maybe it did sell for like $22 or so. This took a little while to sell. It took about 6 or 7 months, but I did pick it up in the fall. Just a very good spring, summer item here. Not something people are going to buy in January. Sold these Tommy Hilfiger men's seersucker pants for $23. This was a $5 buy cost. Took about 5 months to sell, and this definitely seersucker is hot right now. Seem to be selling a lot of it, or I am selling a lot of it in both men's and women's stuff. Good item to be on the lookout for the next month or two. Sold this Ralph Lauren casual button-down shirt. Nothing too special here. A bins pickup, probably like $2 buy cost. This sold for $15 on a sale I had going on. Took a while to sell, took about 7 to 8 months. Probably with items like this, best to just lock them up. Sold this Brooks Brothers patchwork shirt. This is a men's item for $30. This sold super fast, just 1 day. I listed this out at $35. Probably could have held out for like a few more bucks and still sold it relatively quick. But I went ahead and took the $30 offer on this. This was a $5 buy cost. This style, this patchwork, the Madras, that's definitely something good to find. If you can find it in a blazer or something, even if it's not a good brand, you can get a pretty nice payday. Sold this J. Crew Ludlow blazer on Poshmark for $60. This was listed at $75 and kind of went back and forth with the person, and we settled on $60. $6 buy cost on this one, and this took about 4 months to sell. The Ludlow is a good product line or model from J. Crew. Definitely keep an eye out for it. Sold the Scotty Vest men's shirt for $35 on an offer. This is a really good brand to be on the lookout for in terms of travel wear. Not sure if that's a word right there. But this brand, it has like tons of pockets in it. If you find a jacket or sweater, pants even, people are on the lookout for these because people will use them. They have a lot of like pickpocket proof pockets in the clothing. So this sold again $35, $5 buy cost. This took about a month and a half to sell. Good flip here. I sold this Majestic Filletures women's navy blue black blazer. It's got the paisley print on it. And this is a good brand here. I don't think a ton of people know about them, or at least not to my knowledge they do. This sold really quick, just a couple days, a $6 buy cost. I've sold this brand before and it was a similar thing. blazer like this went for like $50 or so. Definitely keep an eye out for majestic fillatures. Sold these LL Bean women's patchwork shorts. Nothing special here. This was a $13 sale. This took about 4 months to sell. And this was a bin's find. This cost about $1. So not a lot of money on these, but I knew at some point someone would come along and buy them. Sold these Bobby Jones men's golf pants or chino pants here. This is a linen cotton blend. I don't know a ton about this brand, but this sold at a decent price. This sold for $30, and this was a bin's find, so probably like $2 buy cost, $3 buy cost. Unfortunately, this did take a very long time to sell. This took about, I want to say about 8 or 9 months to sell, and the size wasn't terrible on this. I mean, this is a 30 by 33, just not a brand I think a lot of people are looking for. Sold this Kemba Walker Charlotte Hornets Youth NBA jersey for $20. This was listed at $25. $5 buy cost on this one, and it took about 5 months to sell. Sold this Peter Millar men's necktie for $18. This was a $2 buy cost. Was hoping to get a little bit more on this, but someone countered at $18. I decided just to go ahead and move it. Sold this Paul Frederick band collar, 100% linen, new tag shirt. Good item here, and I did pick up a white one just like it. It sold very quickly. It sold for like $34, $35. This one sold for $30 on an offer. Did take a little bit longer. I mean, this took 3 months, so definitely not a long time. And this was a $5 buy cost. Always good when you find stuff like this. These were right next to each other in a rack. And yeah, made some okay money on these two shirts. Sold these Brooks Brothers Brooks Cool men's dress pants. Nice pattern on these. These might be suit pants. These sold for $25 on an offer. A repeat buyer, which is definitely a good thing, I think. And a $5 buy cost. These took about 6 months to sell. This is something I would pick up again at $5. You know, you're not making a ton, probably around 15 bucks, but just a good, clean item here. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's white pinpoint Oxford for $27. Now this was listed at $30, and someone used my 10% off coupon to knock it down. $5 buy cost on this one. This one sold quick. It sold in just about a week and a half, possibly 2 weeks at the longest. Sold these Lululemon men's chino pants. I believe these are the ABC Classic for $22, a $5 buy cost. These took about 4 months to sell. Now they do have a little bit of damage. You can see right there. I think that definitely hurt the price some. But overall, glad that this moved and finally is out of my store. I was able to make a little bit of money on it, even though I missed that stain when I was buying it. Sold these Justin Gypsy boots. These are women's boots. These took a while to sell, probably 7 to 8 months. And these were a $6 buy cost. Now I had them at $30, and there was also a discount. So this ended up selling at $27. Definitely not something I would probably pick up again unless it's a different model. I don't know a ton about Justin, and I'm probably just going to wrap this up in some bubble wrap, not use the box here. I was planning on using this box originally, but it looks like it's just going to be too big. I'll probably lose a little bit more on shipping if I ship it in this box. Sold this vintage Abercrombie hat. Now this is a personal item. My hat when I was in high school or growing up or whatever. Good item here. I would have tried to push for more. I had this listed at $25, but since this is fitted, I just decided that it was probably worth it just to go ahead and take the money on this, all profit. And, this sold relatively quick, probably about 4 to 5 months. Carbon to Cobalt is not a brand I really buy anymore. Now, I did see this denim shirt, and I did purchase this for $5. This still took a while to sell, even though it's an XLT. This took probably 6 to 7 months at least to sell, and only sold for $25. So I think I had this listed low 30s, figured I might be able to swing it up there, but that definitely was not the case. The denim did not help out the carbon to cobalt. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $27. Now this was $30, listed at $30, and someone used a 10% coupon in my store. This sold quick. This sold in just a day and was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Banana Republic women's blue pants. Now these are new tags, and I believe they are either a linen or a linen blend. Seems like they are a linen blend. These took about 6 months to sell, were a $5 buy cost, and they sold on an offer for 25 bucks. Sold these Pendleton women's white chino pants for only $20. These are new with tags. Would have thought this would have gone for at least 25. This took a long time to sell. This took about 10 months, 11 months maybe to sell. And I'm pretty sure I got this at the retail store, so it would have been $5 buy cost. Possible I got this at the bins. Actually, pretty good chance based on the SKU number that I might have actually got this at the bins. Regardless, would have expected this to go for a bit more. Sold this Johnson & Murphy men's knit blazer jacket for $67. Now this is a good item here. I picked up another one the same day, already sold it for $75. It's that XC Flex. If you see that on a Johnson & Murphy blazer, definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth probably buying unless it's super expensive, because I've sold 2 of them and both of them have sold very quickly. This one sold in about 6 weeks, a $6 buy cost. Definitely one not to ignore. Sold this Collars & Co. men's short sleeve polo. Now this was part of a deal I got, a wholesale deal. This model here, let's see what it is. It is the Blue Tattersall Classic XL. This sold for $38. Took about 2 months to sell, and in the deal I got a bunch of these new tags. They came out to $9 each. So yeah, pretty good profit on this one, a little bit over $20. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's pinpoint Oxford, blue pinpoint Oxford. Now this was made in USA. It's not a Brooks Brothers makers, so I do not think this was vintage. I did not list it as vintage. But this sold for $29. It was listed at $32, and someone used a 10% coupon in my store. That seems to really be helping out moving a lot of items. So this was a $5 buy cost, and this sold pretty quickly. I think this sold in about 3 to 4 months. Sold another Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford. This sold quick, just probably 3 to 5 days, I want to say. This sold for 25 bucks. It is a small size there. You can see that 14.5, 32. But the small ones sell as well. A $5 buy cost on this one. Sold this lot of Peter Millar men's long sleeve shirts. Now I had this listed, I think at $35, and someone used a coupon, my 10% off coupon, knocked it, if I could speak right, knocked it down to $31.50 and bought this. So each shirt was $5 each, so $10 buy cost altogether. And this took about 5 months to sell. So lotting them up can definitely work. I think if I had gotten 2 patterns that were more similar, it probably would have been better. Size on this is an XL, and weirdly enough, I actually own this shirt on the top. Comfortable shirt, goes well with a number of different pants. Pretty good flip here, J. Crew, and this is a men's shirt, new with tags. The model here, I'm trying to read it. It is the Offshore Performance shirt. I do remember picking this up off a new rack. Now this was a $5 buy cost, and this sold for $28. This sold pretty quick. This sold in 2 months. I wasn't sure how this would do, but I guess being a performance, long sleeve performance shirt with that pattern there, that grid pattern, definitely helped it. Vintage Brooks Brothers Makers men's white button-down shirt. This has got the Made in USA there. It's got that square tag. These sell very well. This sold full asking price for $40. Sold in really just a couple days. Now, this was listed out at $40 and someone offered $25. I think I countered it like $34 or maybe $35. And then someone just kind of swooped in and just bought it full price while we were negotiating, or while this person was contemplating whether they should buy it or not. Probably weren't going to buy it at that price, but always good to sell something that quick. and to sell it for full asking price, I will take it. Sold this Canali men's dress shirt for full asking price, $41. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in about a week and a half. Definitely glad I picked this up. This had some neck stains on it. I was able to soak it, get rid of them, make this thing look nice and clean, and always great when you get a quick flip for full asking price. I'll take that any day. Sold this Tiger Wood men's polo for $30. Now, Tiger Woods, he makes a couple different types of polo, golf polos. This one here is a good model, or this specific style. It's got the blade collar you can see here. These sell really well. It's also got this V. Be on the lookout for those. Those sell good. And also he has a newer brand out. I believe it's Sunday Red, or yeah, Sunday Red. Those sell really well, but I believe it's newer. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult to find. This was a $5 buy cost, and this took about, let's see, took about 5 months to sell. Sold these Johnson & Murphy dress shoes for $33. They were a $7 buy cost. Now, Johnson & Murphy is not a brand that I pick up a ton in terms of the dress shoes, unless there's something specific or the style. These have this saddle on the top here, which definitely makes them unique, helps them sell. I think if it's black and white, that helps even more. But yeah, these didn't take too long to sell. These took probably like 3 months to sell. So a pretty good flip. From a brand I don't really pick up too much. Sold these Canali men's dress pants for $34 on an offer. Normally I list these out like low 40s and hope to get high 30s at least. But my sales have been very slow, and I'm more willing to accept some offers this week. At least that's how it goes sometimes. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold pretty quick. This sold in just about a month. Sold these Hoka women's shoes. Now this is the Aura 2 Recovery, something like that. What is it called exactly? The 1-1 Aura Recovery 2, something like that, that specific model. This sold on an offer for $30 and was a $7 buy cost. These took a little while to sell. They took about 6 months to sell. That's just how it goes sometimes with shoes. I got a little impatient with these, I guess, because first they were like $45, $50. I had them listed as, and then I dropped it, and the woman messaged me about a $30 offer. I just decided to go ahead and take it. Think that I overpriced these originally. Sold this Joseph Abboud new with tags 2-piece suit for $70. I had this listed at $90 and took the $70 offer. Altogether, my buy cost on this was $11, and this sold pretty quick. This sold within a month, maybe 3 weeks. And best part I think about this is I have another one that I found that day, another Joseph Abboud suit. And that one I think is nicer than this one. It has a better pattern. So hopefully I can get 75, 80 on the other one. Overall, a good day when you find some new with tag suits. Sold this new with tags Talbot's women's Irish linen coral blazer for $38. This was a $6 buy cost, and this took about 4 months. I got this in January, so it definitely makes sense. It's selling now with linen season pretty much upon us now. Sold this Isaiah Rashad Top Dog Entertainment t-shirt for $20 on an offer. Now I had this listed, I think high 20s, low 30s, and someone countered at 20, and then they couldn't pay. And I said I'd honor it, you know, if he wanted to come back and ping me. And he did. He came back like a week or two later and, you know, asked, and I went ahead and just sent the $20 offer. This has been in my store a long time. It's been in my store for like 10 or 11 months. Pretty surprising, actually. And this was a bins find. So not much money into it. I don't know who the artist is or anything, but when I did look this up at the bins, it looked like it was worth picking up. Sold this new with tags LL Bean women's blue waffle knit sweater. Good item here. This sold very quickly. This sold in just about a week and was a $5 buy cost. It sold for $30 on Poshmark, so full asking price. The person tried to negotiate. I think they offered like 21 or 22, and I just declined it. And then they just came out and just outright bought it. I thought they would have maybe tried again, or maybe I could have countered, but this was getting a lot of traction on eBay too, so I figured I was going to get at least 27 or 28 on this. Sold this Brooks Brothers Madison men's white pinpoint Oxford, full asking price, $30. This was a $5 buy cost. Now this one did take a while to sell. This took probably like 7, maybe 8 months to sell. When I went to pull it, I was a little surprised how low the number was. But again, you know, a nice profit on this one. These sell in my store very consistently. Sold this new with tags Callaway men's golf polo for $23 on an offer. Now this thing took a while to sell. I think this took about 7 months or so. I think I got this in September, somewhere around that range. It is a 2XL, and you know, obviously no one was going to buy this over the winter. $5 buy cost on this one. I think I have another Callaway, 1 or 2 other Callaway new with tags polos, kind of similar to this, into the store. Hopefully with golf season here, those move much quicker than this one did. Sold this new with tags Chaps men's long sleeve striped shirt. Now this took about 5 months to sell, somewhere in there, and was a $5 buy cost. Obviously, Chaps is not going to make you a ton of money, but people are out there looking for it, and you find it new, you find it cheap enough, you can make a little bit on it. I will pick it up from time to time. Sold these Paul Frederick seersucker pants for $20 on an offer. Now this was a good find at the bins, just a couple dollars in buy cost, and this would have sold for more. The size on this is not good at all. It's a 42-27 when you measure it out. So definitely if I had had a longer inseam, a little bit of a thinner waist, this would have sold, you know, probably in that $25 range. Good flip here. Brand is John Ashford. And this is a sport coat I picked up at the bin. So probably just a couple dollar buy cost, like probably $4 buy cost. This sold for $45 full asking price. And this is a linen blend here. Nice window pane pattern. This sold in just about 3 months. Sold this new with tags Nautica men's quarter zip for $29. Believe that was full asking price on this. This was just a $5 buy cost, and it sold pretty quick. Sold in about 2 months. Sold this Max Mara women's dress for $21 on an offer. This was a nice quick sale, but this item does have a little bit of damage to it. It's pretty worn. It's also missing the belt. So I did mark this down. This was a $6 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just about 6 days. Probably could have held out for some more money on this one, but really just wasn't too sure. This is the brand here, Max Mara, in case you're not familiar with it. Good one to know, and you know, doesn't mean everything is going to sell well, but a lot of their dresses sell very, very well. Sold this Baltimore Ravens jacket for $17.60. Now the buy cost on this was 0. This was a free item, and this did take a while to sell, I will say that, and it did take up quite a bit of space. Hopefully it does not come back, but this took about 7 to 8 months to sell. Sold this Joseph A. Bank 100% linen men's shirt for $24. This one took a while to sell. Took about 10 months and was a $5 buy cost. Not something I usually sell here. 4 boxes of 2021 Topps Heritage Baseball. These are sealed, and I got them at either Target or Walmart. I believe these were $20 each. And I thought these were going to go up quite a bit really quick. That was not the case. These sold, all 4 of these sold for $126. So that ended up coming out to, I think, about $34 each. So definitely not a sale to brag about. It's not like these skyrocketed 10x or anything. Barely making my money back on this. But it is good. I am getting these out of the closet. And these took a while to sell. These took about a year and a half. And really confused me because I would see people selling these consistently for 40. I just didn't seem to be able to get a $40 price or even like a 37 or 36. And just a weird situation, just an item that for some reason people did not want to buy from me. I double checked shipping, all sorts of stuff like that. And really, I would just say now I'm glad to have these things moved and making some money off them. Sold these Joseph A. Bank new with tags men's khaki pants for $23 on an offer. I think I had these listed at $26. Good thing these sold very quickly. These sold in just like 2 or 3 days. Possibly underpriced them. But with Joseph A. Bank, I feel like I come across a lot of the new stuff all the time. So I'm sure I'll run into this in another month or two. I'll find some more Joseph A. Bank chino pants. Not sure if I'll find this size. This is a 36-32, so a good size. And this was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Yves Saint Laurent men's dress pants for $36. These were a $5 buy cost. These sold pretty quick. They sold in about 6 weeks. I still remember the day I was in the store and I got these. There was a couple other pairs that I wanted to pick up as well, but there was just too much damage, so I left those behind. Sold this Polo Golf President's Cup men's quarter zip. Sleeveless here, more of like a vest quarter zip. And this only sold for $18. Definitely surprising. A $5 buy cost on this. Even worse, this took a long time to sell. This took about 9 or 10 months to sell. So I definitely did not undersell this. I think when I bought it, I just figured it's Polo Golf. It's the President's Cup. Should be able to get like 20, 25 on that pretty easy. But that definitely was not the case. This thing sat for quite a while. Sold this J. Lindbergh women's golf polo for $15. This sold pretty quick, about 3 months. Now, this does have some damage on the back, some sort of stain or something. So I think that's why it sold for so little. But I'm not sure what I think about this brand in general. If you do buy this, if you do have luck flipping it, definitely comment, let me know. Can't say I would recommend this one, definitely, but I do feel like there's good stuff from J. Lindbergh. I just don't have a ton of experience selling this brand. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford dress shirt. This sold very quick, just about 2 days for $27 and was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Faraday men's chino pants, a $5 buy cost here. Good brand for lots of different things. These sold in about a month and they sold for $28 on one of my sales. Sold these chubby running shorts for $12. This was a $5 buy cost here, so definitely not a very good flip. These took a while to sell. They took about 6 to 7 months to sell. And I don't know about chubbies. I mean, I haven't looked at it in a while. I know for some time it was doing really good or doing good. It doesn't seem like it's probably the case anymore if I'm only getting that much $12. And this, these shorts I marked down, I think a few times. I think these were up at like the mid-20s or somewhere in there. I expected to get at least $20 on these. That was not the case. These are a small, but they do have that Aztec print there. I thought that would help it out. Anyhow, comment, definitely let me know. Are you picking up chubbies or is it just a situation where it has seen its day? Sold these Lululemon wide leg pants. These are women's. These sold for $25 and a $5 buy cost on these ones here. These took a while to sell. I want to say these took about 8 months, maybe 9 months. Definitely a lot longer than expected. Got to be careful with some of this Lululemon. Definitely can sit for a while. I think this model here is called like the City Sleek or something like that. Definitely one that I don't know a ton about, but I'm going to be much more careful with Lululemon moving forward. Sold these Peter Millar men's chino pants for only $14. This was a $5 buy cost. And these things, kind of a different type with Peter Millar here. The performance stuff, the lightweight golf stuff sells well. These are actually like flannel. The fabric is flannel. It's pretty heavyweight. So I think that hurt it. Also, the size on this, not a good size. It's like 48 by 32. So definitely that's not helping it out. But yeah, it took a while, $14. And definitely an item I'll have to be more careful for. Just go for like those nice Pinot Noir, like the EB66 pants, things like that. Sold some Canali dress pants. Now these were listed individually and someone bundled them together. One pair went for $38, the other went for $35, and they were a $5 buy cost each. So together they sold for $73. And this didn't take long to sell. These took about 6 weeks to sell. Don't ignore Canali if you find it. Good brand for lots of different things. Primarily pants, shirts, men's suits, blazers, those sorts of things is where I find Canali. I'm not sure about women's stuff. Definitely chime in if you know. But I've never found any women's items in terms of Canali. I'm not sure if they make it or not. Sold this Gap new with tags women's romper here. Now I think this is linen, or it's either a cotton and linen blend, but this sold pretty quick. This sold in about 2 months, and this was a $6 buy cost. Sold the Charlotte Bobcats youth jersey, basketball jersey for $20. Now the Bobcats are no longer the NBA team in Charlotte. So stuff like this, I think, is good with like men's jerseys, but with youth, just not really the situation, not really the case. Not a lot of parents are buying these, I think, for their kids if they're going to like a Hornets game or something. But this sold for $20. It was a $5 buy cost. Did take a while to sell, took about 5 or 6 months to sell. Sold this Max Mara weekend blazer, women's blazer, for $30 on an offer. This was listed out, I think, high 30s, low 40s, and went ahead, decided to take the offer on this. Good item here, and this sold quick. This sold in just about a month and was a $6 buy cost. Sold this Brooks Brothers blue pinpoint Oxford for $24. This sold in about 3 months and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Joseph A. Bank men's suit vest. Now this is new at tags. It's $185. Maybe it was part of a set or something else that seems very pricey even for a Joseph Bank, but who knows. So this sold for $30 and it sold in about 2 weeks. I think I had it listed at 36 or 37. It was a $5 buy cost, and this thing had a lot going for it. It's a 3XL as well. So these suit vests, they can sell pretty good, especially, you know, when they're brand new. That's pretty much the only time I'm picking them up, unless, of course, it is a very nice brand. Sold this Ralph Lauren men's sport coat for full asking price, $45. Now, this is a silk wool blend. These sell pretty well, and the pattern on here is a nice houndstooth pattern. This was $6. And this took about 2 months to sell. So overall, a good flip on this one. It's definitely what I like to see, because I do find these Ralph Lauren houndstooth, the silk wool blend, I do seem to find those pretty regularly. So I may have to add more of those to my inventory. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's nails head dark gray blazer. Good item here. This is a silk wool linen blend. Really feels very soft. I'm sure the customer is going to like this item. This was a $6 buy cost. It did take a little while to sell. It took about 6 to 7 months to sell. And again, this was listed about $50, $51, and I took an offer at $41. Sold these Abercrombie men's jeans. Now this is the Kilburn model. It is a bootcut model. These sold for $37 on an offer. Had them listed in the low 40s. Good model to know here from Abercrombie. These have a nice fade, some nice whiskering to them, and of course the logo on the back. I'm not an expert on jeans, but certain models are going to do better. This was a $7 buy cost. This took about 4 months to sell, and again, it sold for $37. Sold these cool Renegade men's hiking pants for $23. This went on one of my sales. and it was marked down to $23. This took a very long time to sell. This took about 10 months, and that is because, as you can see up here, there's quite a bit of damage, or not really damage, just stains. Probably can get those out, but I never tried. This was a $5 buy cost. I guess if this was clean and everything, this probably would have sold much quicker. I know it would have sold much quicker and probably would have sold probably high 20s, low 30s, somewhere in that range at least. Sold this Lucky women's dress here. Nice green, white floral pattern. Now, this is new at tags, and that is what it looks like when it's on. So good item, I would say, overall. Now, when I looked at comps on this, I got a little bit worried that they were going, I saw some going for like 16, 20. So I priced mine, I think, at 30. I mean, there was a couple that had sold in the 30 range. So it was tough to get a read on the market. Someone offered 28 and I accepted. This took about 4 months to sell and was a $6 buy cost. Sold this Peter Millar UNC Chapel Hill men's polo for $19 on an offer. This sold very quick. This sold in just a few days. And this is a good size. I believe it's an XL. Vintage Peter Millar, a $5 buy cost. Probably could have held out on this, got a few more dollars on it, but I wasn't sure. This isn't like the performance, like the summer comfort, so I figured I would go ahead and take the order, or take the offer. But I do think these stripes do pretty good with lots of these golf and preppy brands. Sold this Talbot's women's Irish linen blazer for $16. Definitely not what I envisioned when I bought this for $6. But this finally sold. It took about 7 or 8 months to finally move out of my store. I think this was listed at $25, and the woman she offered $15 first, and then I came back at like $19, and then she came at $16, and I was just like, really? And I was like, fine, I'll just go ahead. I'll just sell it for that. Whatever. So good to see this thing go. I am not going to miss it. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's blue pinpoint Oxford. This sold full asking price, $30. The same day I listed it. That's what I like to see right there. A $5 buy cost on this, which this gets me about to a, after fees and everything, cost of goods, about a $20 profit, which is what I like to see, especially when it sells a Verity men's knit blazer for $86 on an offer. I think I originally had this listed at $110 and took the $86 offer. This sold very quickly. This sold in about 2 weeks and was only a $6 buy cost. Sold this Poncho men's short sleeve fishing shirt. This sold for $55 and it sold the same day I listed it. Only a $5 buy cost on this one. Some good money here. Now, Poncho is a great brand. If you are out and about and you see it, definitely pick it up. It sells fast for good money. And when I looked up this particular brand and the model, you know, 55 was kind of at the higher end of the market. I put the offers down at 45, expecting I would just accept like 47 or 48 or something. But that was not the case. Glad to get full price on this one here. My favorite sale of 2026 so far, some Brunello Cucinelli buttons, spare buttons. Now, technically, I did buy a blazer that was badly damaged. Thought it was not beyond repair, but that was not the situation. So I did cut the buttons off this. You can see, hopefully, that it is, the buttons do have Brunello Cucinelli on them, imprinted on them. So this sold for $50, these spare buttons. I had them listed at $70. And this is a good item to be on the lookout for. Maybe if you're at the bins or something, you see something heavily damaged from a really nice brand. Pick up the buttons. They can definitely sell because people need them. This took about 4 to 6 weeks to sell, and the blazer was a $6 buy cost. Sold these Allen Edmonds loafers for $60 full asking price. These took about 3 months to sell and were a $7 buy cost. Model here is the Walden, and these are in very good shape. These Allen Edmonds, you can see the treads are in good shape, as well as the inside. Definitely always a good sign. These shoes are very good in terms of quality, and they sell nicely. I always am on the lookout for Allen Edmonds in the thrift store. Sold this vintage Brooks Brothers Makers men's long sleeve button-down dress shirt. This sold full price, $41. Took about a week to sell. This is the second one of these I've sold in the last 2 weeks, I want to say. And they've both sold $40 or more. This was a $5 buy cost. Good item here, and good, definitely a nice quick flip on this one. Sold this Uniqlo comfort jacket for $45. Now this was a $50. I listed this out at $50 and took the $45 offer. This is new at tags and was a $6 buy cost. It took about 2 to 3 weeks to sell. Now when I did find this, I thought initially this was just some sort of fast fashion item here. Just kind of the way it looked and felt and everything was made in China. But then I saw the Uniqlo label on it, on the collar there, and definitely something worth picking up, new at tags. I think Uniqlo is definitely a brand that does things a little bit differently than these other fast fashion companies. There's some quality in some of their clothing, but yeah, good flip on this one here. Sold this Roundtree in York men's quarter zip. This is a 2XLT, I believe is the size on this. Yeah, 2XLT. $5 buy cost on this. Nothing too special. This did sell faster than I kind of thought it would, which is definitely good. This took about a month to sell and sold on a discount or a sale. It was at $26 and the person bought it with the discount at $23. So not a ton of money on this one, but made a little bit on it. Sold this Mack Weldon Tech Linen quarter zip. Nice waffle knit here. This sold for $35. Sold pretty quickly. Sold in just about a month and was a $5 buy cost. Had this listed out at $40 and took the $35 offer. Sold this B. Draddy men's golf polo for $20. This went on one of my discounts or sales, and I can't recall what that logo is up there, that golf logo. I don't even think I put that in the listing, but this is the 2XL. This is that stripe pattern, horizontal stripe that seems to do pretty well with these golf shirts. This was a $5 buy cost, and this took about 3 months to sell. Sold these Burberry men's dress pants on an offer for $30. Now these were listed out at $40. I sent an offer of $35. The person countered at $30 and I accepted. Kind of had to do it because these have been in the store about 6 months now. And with pants, it's just tough. It's harder to negotiate. I don't know when someone is going to come around again with a 33 waist and a 31 inseam and want a pair of Burberrys. So went ahead and took this. These were a $5 buy cost. Sold these Peter Millar men's golf pants for $19.50. This is the Durham High Drape Performance model, and usually these sell better or for more, but these do have a stain on them, so that definitely caused a lot of a delay in terms of it selling. This was a $5 buy cost. Should have caught that stain or tried to maybe work it out a little bit harder, and this took a while. This took about 6 to 7 months to sell. Sold this Gap women's sweater for $20 on an offer. Now, I picked this up because of the pattern. It kind of has this Aztec Christmas feel to it. But this didn't sell as well as I thought it would. I think I had this listed at $30 and sent an offer to someone for $25. They countered at $20 and I accepted because we are going into summer. And also this has been in my store for quite a while, probably 8 or 9 months. This was a $5 buy cost. And yeah, so I'll be a little bit more careful with this type of stuff. But I do think there's good money to be made with certain styles, unique pieces. This was just not the case with this one. Sold this advanced macroeconomics textbook. This is an old one here, my old graduate school textbook. It sold finally for $15. Don't really have much stuff like this on my store, but this was a personal item. I think I listed this out at $22. took a long time to sell. It took about a year and a half. The microeconomics one sold pretty quick. Well, not really quick, but it sold in like 6 months, which is definitely fast compared to this one here. That one I think sold for $22. So yeah, glad to have this thing out of the store. And I did, highlight some sections in here. So hopefully the person is not stingy with that. Sold these Brooks Brothers, a lot of 2 men's plaid shirts. These are kind of micro plaid, I think I used in the listing. This sold full asking price, $43 on Poshmark. Very pumped about this sale here, getting that amount. And this also sold quickly. This sold in just about a month. So the shirts were $5 each, so a $10 buy cost. Selling for $43, although the Poshmark fees are higher. Some good profit on this one here. I'll have to look to keep bundling some of these Brooks Brothers. Sold these new with tags men's 511 Tack Light Pro Pants for $35 on Poshmark. Super quick sale here. This sold in just a day. The guy, I think he started at 25, or maybe he started at like 27. I had him listed at like 40 or 42. And we just kind of went back and forth, and I stood my ground at 35 for these. So these were a $5 buy cost, some solid profit on this one. Sold these Zanella men's dress pants for $23. These were a $5 buy cost. Not a great flip here, but I think considering all things said about this, I'm very happy actually with the price I got. Size on this is not good at all. It's a 44 by 28. Should have picked that up in the thrift store. And this took about 4 months to sell. Sold these Pag men's dark denim jeans for $16. Not a very good flip here. There is the logo up there, just in case you are familiar. Now this was a bins find, so probably about a $4 buy cost on this. I just continue to get crushed in the streetwear area. Things I pick up don't move, and I definitely need to do some more homework, see what moves in terms of streetwear, that Y2K 90s stuff. Definitely not my area of expertise. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $23 in just a day or two. Now this does have a little bit of a stain on it. That is one of the reasons it did not sell for more, because I do sell these all the time. The stain isn't terrible. I actually think it will fade away, but of course I can't guarantee something like that, or really I'm not going to write that in the description. This was a $5 buy cost. Sold this J. Crew women's dress for $34 on an offer. This was listed out at $38 and was a good find at the Goodwill bins. It was just about a $2 buy cost. So, some good profit on this one. Took about 4 to 5 months to sell. Really a nice dress here. Button up, green floral, has prairie core or cottage core written all over it. And really a good item, $98 MSRP. Sold this vintage Gatorade bottle for $13. Now this is a personal item here. This was mine in the mid-90s. It's got that NBA on NBC logo there, the Hoop It Up. I think I got this at Hoop It Up when I was a teenager. So no buy cost essentially on this. And this took about 6 months to sell. Sold this B. Draddy men's golf polo for $20. This was a $5 buy cost and took about 4 months to sell. Now, that is the name, just in case you're not familiar. B. Draddy, pretty good brand. Some of the stuff, if you have a logo, a good logo, it's going to help. Obviously, a big size, things like that. But nothing super special. You're not going to get, $40, $50 prices on these. I'm not sure what that logo is on the left chest. I don't even think I put it in the listing. Maybe the person who bought it knew. But overall, good to see that this thing has moved and made me a little bit of money. Sold these Levi's 527 jeans. Now, this is a size 30 by 30, and these took a while to sell. They took about 8 or 9 months, or a $7 buy cost at the Goodwill retail. And these sold on an offer for $24. Finally moved these. These got a lot of traction, but no one would pull the trigger. I think I had this listed like high 20s or something, but I just couldn't get anyone to bite. Sold this Brooks Brothers Makers vintage men's dress shirt for $34. This took about 2 months to sell and was a $5 buy cost. Now I had this listed at 40, someone sent an offer for 30, and I countered at 34, but typically I like to see these go about 35 to 40. Good item here. Know that tag, that Brooks Brothers Makers, when it says Made in USA. These can make you a little bit of money. Here's an example here of an item that would have sold very well as a men's item. Now these are Polo Ralph Lauren women's utility cargo pants. They've got the ankle zip down there. These only sold for $19. Had them listed at $24, and someone used a discount or a sale or a coupon or something to get them, to mark them down. This was a $5 buy cost. I got these at a garage sale. And they also took about 6 or 7 months to sell, so they did not sell quick. So this would be a great item for men's clothing, but in terms of women's, I'm guessing the style is just not very popular. I mean, the size here, the size is a 10, so it's not like some obscure size or anything. But anyhow, good to have these things sold. And yeah, for men's, I would recommend picking up something like this. For women's, probably not the case. Sold this Madewell women's dress for $30. This did take a while to sell. It took about 6 to 7 months, I want to say. And I believe I got this at the Goodwill retail. There's a chance I got this at the bins. At the retail store, it would have been $6. So even though, you know, it wasn't a ton of money on the flip here, maybe just like $18 profit or something, I would say, like, I'm glad that I was able to get this move for that much, because I could easily see something like this just going for $22, $25. If I had gotten an offer for that much, I would have accepted it. Sold this Bonobos men's navy blue blazer for full asking price, $55. And this took about a month to sell, a $6 buy cost on this one. Bonobos makes, or I should say, a lot of their blazers sell very well. I've sold a number of them. This one here, I think, is a slim fit. Am I right? Yeah, slim fit, but it doesn't really matter. A lot of young, thin people buy these blazers. And this was, I think, a 44 thin or a 44S as well. So a good flip on this one here. Sold these Joseph A. Bank men's seersucker pants for $22. This was a bins find here, so probably like a $2 or $3 buy cost. And they took about 7 months to sell, so they did take a while to move. But that's okay. Good time of year for someone to be buying these seersuckers. You've got horse races, weddings, all sorts of stuff like this. If you could find a top, a jacket, that would have really helped the value on this one. Probably would have sold in like that 60 to 80 range, I imagine, for Joseph A. Bank. Sold this G4 women's quarter zip. In case you're not familiar, the brand, it's that G4 right there. Golfing brand, sells really well for men's stuff. This is a woman's item, of course. This sold for $43, and it took about 2 months to sell. Now, oddly enough, right before someone bought it, someone sent me an offer of $20, and I was kind of mulling over what I wanted to counter at. I wasn't going to sell this for $20. But I went ahead and, you know, right as I was getting ready to counter, someone had purchased it. So there was no need. I think I was going to come back at like $32 or something like that. Good item here. Be on the lookout for a G4. They make some good stuff and can make you some pretty good money. Sold these Brooks Brothers seersucker men's pants for $30 full asking price. This was a $5 buy cost and sold pretty quick. It sold in about 2 months. Now, the guy messaged me this morning asking for a thigh measurement. Normally, I am hesitant to do stuff like that because whenever you do it, people never buy it anyways. But this morning, I just decided to go ahead and do it. And sure enough, I sent him the photos. Did not give actual specifics, but just sent the photos for him. And he bought them like 5 minutes later. So it actually did work out this time. But that's usually not the case. Sold these vintage Polo Ralph Lauren men's chino khaki pants for $28. These sold quick. They sold in about a day or two. and were a $5 buy cost. Now this model here is the Andrew pant. You can see that right in there. And you can see on the waistband as it goes around, Polo Ralph Lauren. That's how you know it's vintage. These ones here were made in Mexico, but you know, sometimes the other vintage ones, you're going to see made in USA, obviously, made in Honduras. And these sell very well. Now, normally I get about 30 to 35 on these, but this did have a stain down at the lower part on the lower leg. It's pretty faint. I can't even remember where it is exactly, but it was there. And I figured because of the location, I wasn't going to spend the time trying to get it out. Just try and get like 25 on these. Pretty happy I did get 28, and it sold so quick. Sold this Orvis quarter zip. Now this is 100% merino wool. It sold for $24.70, full asking price. This has been in my store quite a while. This took about 10 months to sell, and really surprised how long this thing took to move, especially kind of weird that it's selling right now. This was a $5 buy cost, so the profit isn't like terrible on this one, but just the length of time it took to move, definitely pretty surprising. This thing's in good shape. Probably my photographs were not great on this. Anyhow, good to have this thing finally moved. Sold this Patagonia woman's skirt Scorch for $23.50. This was a decent amount of profit on this one. It's not too bad. It was a $5 buy cost. But of course, this did take a while to sell. I think I picked this up in the fall. And of course, you know, I want to say this took about 7 to 8 months to sell. Maybe I picked it up end of last summer. It just took too long to sell. Really surprised me. Maybe the offers were not set low enough on this one. Nice olive green color and a good size at 14. But probably not something I would pick up again at the retail store. I would pick this up at the bins though, again, maybe just mark it at like 22 or something. List it out at 22. Sold these Gap herringbone utility pants here for $20 on Poshmark. This was a $5 buy cost. Probably should not have picked these up. I will say these did sell very quickly. They sold in just about a month, but there just wasn't a lot of money made on this. Not a lot of potential. Size was not good on this. 44 by 27 when I measured it out. Good brand here, Frank and Eileen. I'm sure many of you are aware of it. I've sold a number of things from them. Always pick it up when I find it. So these are some women's micro corduroy pants I got at the Goodwill retail store for $5. And these sold on Poshmark for $45. I had them listed at $60 and took the offer. These sold pretty quick. They sold in just about a month. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren patchwork men's men's shorts. This was a $5 buy cost. These sold for $20 on an offer. I had them listed at $25. I think the same day I picked up like a Brooks Brother one and then like another Polo one as well. These won't make you a ton of money, but they will sell pretty quickly. This one I think took about 6 weeks to sell, and this was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's white pinpoint Oxford for $26. This took about 3 to 4 months to sell and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this New at Tags Joseph Abboud men's suit, two-piece suit. Nice item here. This sold, I believe, for either $80 or $82. And this was an $11 buy cost. You have to buy the jacket and the pants on this. Good news is this sold pretty quick. This sold in just a month, so some really good profit on this one. And even better, I picked up another New at Tags Joseph Abboud suit that day. That one has already sold as well. I think it sold in that same price range, somewhere around $80. Sold this Berman buckskin men's vest, a leather vest. Now I'll show you the tag there. This is one, I think, a good one to be on the lookout for. This didn't sell super quick or anything, but this company does make some pretty good products. Like if you found a leather jacket or something, probably worth picking up from them. This sold for $32. It did take a little while to sell. I think it took about 6 or 7 months to sell. But, you know, this is definitely a good item. You know, it's got that Western rodeo theme to it. A $5 buy cost on this. And yeah, I'm not an expert in leather products, what sells in terms of leather. Need to get better at that, learn more about it. Sold this new with tags Peter Millar Summer Comfort for $40 on an offer. Had this listed at $48, and this was a $5 buy cost. This sold pretty quick. This sold in about 2 months, and not much else to really say about this. I mean, if you find Peter Millar new with tags, definitely, as long as it's not too pricey, probably almost always worth picking up. Sold this Michael Kors new without tags men's Oxford dress shirt for $28, full asking price. Pretty good flip on this one. Michael Kors does not really sell. It's not really one I pick up or would recommend picking up. But of course, this was new with tags. This was a $5 buy cost, and it took about 5 months to sell. So I would say the takeaway here is, you know, these white shirts, these plain white shirts, lots of brands can do okay with these. Of course, if they're used, if they're really worn out, don't buy them. But some of these can do pretty good, especially if they are brand new. Allen Edmonds dress shoes for $60. These took about 4 months to sell. Now, this is a dark brown color. Not sure how well you can see it here on camera. This was just a $6 buy cost at Goodwill. And these are in good shape. I would say that normally with this model from Allen Edmonds, usually the Park Avenue gets you closer to like 70 to 80. This one here was kind of a weird size. It's an 8.5. So kind of felt like I needed to take this offer. The person wasn't lowballing me. I think their first offer was 55. I went with 60. I countered at 65. He countered at 60, and I just took it. Sold this Ermenegildo Xenia men's white button-down dress shirt for $33 on an offer. This was a $5 buy cost. Now, originally I had this at $40 and kind of went back and forth with the person, and we just settled on $33. This did sell very quickly. This sold in just about a month. Good brand to be on the lookout for. I actually found a Xenia shirt yesterday. It wasn't all white. Probably will sell in that same range, about 30 to 40, as this one did. Good flip here. Sold this Ralph Lauren men's blue black houndstooth sport coat for $50, full asking price. Took about 2 months to sell and was a $6 buy cost. Good flip here. Brooks Brothers Thomas Mason luxury collection. This sold for $34, full asking price, and this took about a month to sell. Was a $5 buy cost. These sell pretty good, these Thomas Mason ones. Be on the lookout for them. Sold this Peter Millar men's quarter zip. Now this is a 2XL. I actually found 2 of these the same day. This sold quick for $25, just about 2 weeks to sell, and was a $5 buy cost. Still have a blue one in my store. Hopefully that will move pretty soon here as well. Sold 5 items here to one woman. Now, the prices aren't ideal on some of these, but since she was buying so much, I was willing to work with her. This J. Peterman sweatshirt here sold for $30. This was a $5 buy cost. Actually found another one the same day. It sold for $40. Then there was this Express shirt, this woman's blouse. This sold for $15. I believe I got this at the bins, so just a buck or two. These are some Brooks Brothers pants. This was another bins find. These, I think, sold for $18. No, these sold for $15. I gave it to her for $15. These Gap pants, $15. This was a $5 buy cost. And last one here, this Brooks Brothers. This is a zip-down vest. This was, she asked for $15. I countered, I think, at $20 or $22, and then she countered at $18, and I figured I would just give it to her for that much. But this was a $5 buy cost, and some of these, obviously, I'm not making too much money on, but if someone's buying that much, I'll be willing to work with them. Sold this Ralph Lauren women's jumpsuit for only $20. Now, this is an item that has been very frustrating for me in my store. It's an item I did find at the Goodwill bins, so the buy cost was not high, but I was sure this thing was going to go for more. You can see over there, it is new with tags. I think the MSRP is like $175 or something. I don't think I did a very good job listing this out, marketing it, and it definitely hurt in this case. You know, my buy cost was not high, but this thing took forever to sell. It took like a year and like 2 months or 3 months, and probably overpricing it had a lot to do with it as well. If I had started out listing it like 30 or 40, could have probably moved it maybe a little bit quicker. But overall, glad to see this thing has finally sold and is out of the store. Sold this Collars & Co. men's shirt for $36 on an offer. Now, this sold in about 2 months or so. I did buy a whole box of these. There were 40 of them new. They came out to $9 each, and I've been selling these off week by week, making some decent money on these. Not a ton, but it is adding up. Good to see this one move. This is here the just a featherweight, which these seem to be pretty popular. And I don't think the pattern is really awesome on this one. Size not great either, medium. But 36 bucks, I will take it. Sold another Collars & Co. for $36. Now, most of these Collars & Co. are just polos, short sleeve polos. This one here is a button-down, long sleeve. I don't really think that boosts the value much. Could be wrong about that. But again, this sold $36. I think I had it listed at $40. And good to see another one of these out the door. Sold this Hickey Freeman Laura Piana wool men's blazer for $35 on an offer. If you are not familiar, there's the Laura Piana fabric. If you do see that in just an average brand, it could be something, can be something worth picking up. In this case, this sold pretty good. You know, it sold for $35. It was only a $6 buy cost, but this did take a while to sell. It took probably about 8 or 9 months to sell. So it definitely took some time. I'm a little bit more careful when I just see the Laura Piana in there. You know, I've seen it in women's pants and stuff. It doesn't always sell super quick. But anyhow, good to have this thing moved. Sold this Chicago Cubs 2016 World Series champions women's quarter zip, or maybe, yeah, this is a quarter zip here. Now, the brand is Antigua, which isn't a great brand. And I did pick this up, I think, thinking that this was a men's quarter zip. Didn't really pay attention too much to the size, for the size. So this did take a while to sell. This took about 10 or 11 months to sell. It was a $5 buy cost, eventually selling for $20 on an offer from someone. If this had been a men's, again, it would have sold much quicker. Probably not much more money, but definitely would have sold quicker. Sold this Joseph A. Bank men's Nuitag sport coat for $55. Now, this took about 6 months to sell. It did take a little while to sell. It was just a $6 buy cost. And, you know, I think the reason this took a while to sell is the size is a little bit weird. Not weird, but it's a 43R. And I think most people, they stay with the even sizes when it comes to sport coats and blazers. But overall, this is a very nice sport coat, and I'm sure someone's going to be very happy with it. Sold this NASCAR shirt with the cutoff sleeves for $9. Now, this is a free item I got from Whatnot, one of those Whatnot giveaways where you win something and they send something out to you. So, decent shirt here. I guess racing season's just about here, or you could say it is here, but I feel like it really picks up in May with the Coca-Cola 600, races like that. This took about 8 or 9 months to sell. Sold this Polo Ralph Lauren vintage striped dress shirt for $20. This was a $2 buy cost. Got this at the Goodwill bins. And this took about 5 months to sell. Not the greatest item here, but made a little bit of money on this one. There's a buyer for everything on eBay. Now this here is a Hinterland Canada Wild Rose pin and earrings. These are from the 70s. I did get this for free, and this did sell for $19. Did not take that long to sell. I think it took about, well, it took about 7 or 8 months. But, you know, something like this I could see sitting for years. So not a ton of money on this one, but glad that this thing is sold. And even better, this thing really did not take up much space. That's kind of what I look for in a lot of this stuff that, you know, I'm just not too sure about. Sold this Loft Nuitags blazer for $35 on Poshmark. Pretty good item here. This sold pretty quick it sold in just about a month for $35 and was only a $6 buy cost. I mean, this is a decent item. It's double-breasted. It's got gold buttons, and I do like this pattern and the colors on it. Perfect for this time of year. Good to have this thing moved. Terrible flip here. Brand is called Free Fly. Not exactly sure why I picked this up. It is a small, and I think I saw the performance bamboo, and I thought it was automatically good. This only sold for $10, and this took about 11 months to sell. Now, I can't recall exactly where I got it. I might have gotten it at the bins. I might have gotten it at the Goodwill retail store. At this point, I am just glad this thing is out and just pondering why the hell I bought this thing. Sold this Forever 21 women's raincoat for $14. This took about 6 or 7 months to sell. Now, this was given to me, so all profit on this one. And glad that this sold, because if it had gone on a few more months, I might have just decided to just go and donate this one. So although not much money, at least something here. Sold these new tags, J. Crew Carolina Flare women's pants for $36 on Poshmark. So a nice flip here. This was only $5, and this sold pretty quick. This sold in just about a month or 6 weeks, somewhere in that range. Good item and a good size 18 on this one. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $25. This sold very quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. Now, it is a Brooks Brothers Makers. It's got that made in USA. It is not vintage, though. I did not list it as vintage. It is not vintage. This was a $5 buy cost. And a nice solid flip here. Nothing crazy money-wise, but when it sells that quick, it's always good. Sold these Joseph Abboud new tags men's jeans for $27. This was a $7 buy cost. These sold pretty quick. They sold in about 6 weeks. Possibly could have held out for more on these because the size isn't terrible. It's a 32-30, but just decided to go ahead and take the offer, not negotiate or anything. Sold these Ann Taylor Eva pants for $23 on an offer. Now, these have been in the store a while. These took about 8 or 9 months to sell. They are new with tags, and I think I did have these priced a bit high. I had these priced around $30, but went ahead and took the offer. Don't know when someone else is going to come around in this specific size and want this specific item here. Overall, just glad that this thing has moved. Sold these Patagonia 10-penny men's hiking pants for $59. Now, these are new at tags, so this was a great find at the Goodwill bins. Probably just about a $2 buy cost on this one here. They sold pretty quick. They took about 4 months to sell. And, you know, the person, I had these listed at 70. The person offered 50. Was going to counter 60, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go 59. I feel like 59 will close the deal. I don't know why I thought 60 would just push them away. But anyhow, 59, you know, I offered 59, and they accepted. Sold these Ralph Lauren Total Comfort men's dress pants for $30, full asking price. This was a $5 buy cost. Pretty nice flip here. The only thing I would say is this took a while to sell. It took about 10 or 11 months, and I might have overpriced these. I don't know if other people were coming in and wanting them, but I'm pretty sure I had it listed at 30 and I was accepting offers on it. But I'm happy in terms of profit. Not so happy in terms of time, or not happy at all in terms of time. This just took way too long to sell. Sold a couple pairs of these Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford. This is the Madison fit, which is a little bit more relaxed. Now, these sold for $26 each. I had these listed individually. Someone came in, bought one, or offered 26 on one. I accepted, and then about 15 minutes later, they offered 26 on the other one. So got these moved very quickly. These sold in just a few days, a week at the most. $5 each. I will give a partial refund in terms of the shipping on this. So this guy does not have to pay shipping on both of these. I think the shipping is like $7 per item, but he'll get a partial refund. I'll just put them all in one bag. Sold this American Tall men's New Defects quilted jacket for $20. And this took a while to sell. It took about 10 or 11 months and was a find at the Goodwill bins. Someone must have put this through the wash. You can see the tag there, or it's, kind of all shriveled up. But the defect on this is the button here at the top. It is missing that button, that snap button at the top. Although I don't think that that's really super critical. I do think this brand is pretty good for the most part, this American Tall. I haven't sold a ton of it, but I do think it's probably worth buying. My buy cost on this was probably around $4 or so, being at the Goodwill bins, but this just took too long to sell. There wasn't enough profit on this one, only selling for $20. Sold this Collars & Co. for $37 on Poshmark. Now this is a pretty good brand to look out for. They've got just this regular kind of flimsy polo, and then they have the dress shirt collar here, which is kind of their trademark. They have different types of collars you can buy if you go online. They definitely that is their thing. I did buy a box of these. I bought 40 of these, and it came out to about a $9 average buy cost. So this got me about a $20 profit, being a $37 sale price on Poshmark. And so far, I've moved a good number of these. This one, I think, took about 2-3 months to sell. Relwyn men's polo for $34 on an offer. This was listed out at $40 and a $5 buy cost. This took about 2 months to sell. I have never found this brand until this day. It's a good one to know. That day, I did find 2 quarter zips as well, which I think I have listed at like $70 in my store. They have not sold yet, but I am not too worried. I just haven't gotten even a respectable offer yet. So just in case you're not familiar, that's Relwyn. It's got the bird up there, big tag, kind of easy to tell that it is a quality brand. Sold the Saddlebred men's blazer for $38 on Poshmark. Now, I do think I could have gotten a few more dollars out of this one, but just decided to take the $38 offer. This was a $6 buy cost, and took about 2 months to sell. So Saddlebred, they have some different types of blazer styles that can do pretty good. Seersucker is definitely one of them. You're not going to make a fortune, but you could make, that 35 to 50 range. I sell these quite a bit. So be on the lookout for Seersucker with Saddlebred. Sold these Canali men's dress pants for $40. Now this is a nice pair of pants here. Nice olive or dark green color. Good size. I think the inseam is like 31 or 32 on these. And these took about 4 months to sell. I had them listed at $50 and took the $40 offer. Only a $5 buy cost on these pants here. Sold this Zero Restriction men's windbreaker pullover for $33. This was a $5 buy cost, and it took about 4 or 5 months to sell, probably closer to 4 months. I think I got this sometime in January. Now, the one thing I'd say about this item here, and this is, it's good. It's got the houndstooth pattern, good size, Gore-Tex and everything, is I have been having some difficulty selling the Dry Joys by FootJoy. I've got a couple of those in my store, and they are just not moving. I'll have to go back and double check the price, but I would expect those things to really have been moving by now, and it is not the case. So I would exercise maybe a little caution, and I don't know, maybe Zero Restriction is a level up from the Dry Joys, but to me, it seems like they're on the same level, and really those Dry Joys should be moving. Sold these Nike men's shorts for $25 on eBay. They took about 4 months to sell, and of course, they've got that big spell out on the bottom. That is one of the reasons I did pick these up. Pretty much the primary reason that I did buy these. This was a Goodwill bins find, so probably just like a $1 buy cost on this, and they took about 4 months to sell. Sold these cool Radical hiking pants for $34 full asking price. Now this was a good sale here. This sold in under a week and was just a $5 buy cost. This item here has a little bit of a stain on it. I was still able to move it. Not sure if you can see that with the camera. And of course, I don't think a lot of people who buy this stuff are going to care about little stains because they're going to be out in the woods and stuff. So not really super important. It's not like dress pants or something like that. But overall, keep an eye on these cool pants. The cool Radical especially, they sell super quick they're selling super quick right now. Shirts, not so much. I don't think cool shirts are really worth it. I have been passing on those, unless of course you do get them cheap enough. Sold this Volkswagen North Face women's full zip jacket for $24. Not a good flip here. This took a while to sell. This took about 13 months, maybe 14 months to sell. And, you know, being North Face, having Volkswagen, I thought that that would help it out. That was not the case. It probably would have gone a little bit quicker, sold a little bit quicker if it was a men's item, but definitely was not the case in terms of being a woman's item. I believe I paid $7 for this, so a little bit of money made, but really not much. And the worst thing about this sale, of course, was the amount of time it took to move this item. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's pink grid dress shirt for $23, full asking price. Now this is a personal item here. This had been in my closet for years and I just never wore it. Now it does have, I did see it in my closet and I did not know if I had worn it or not. But when I pulled it out, I saw these plastic tags still on the button there and listed it out new without tags. So again, this sold for $23, and good thing is this sold quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. All profit on this one. Well, I guess it's not really all profit because I did pay probably like full asking price years ago. But just an example of sticking like a personal item in your store, making a little bit of money off it. Sold this Stafford summer blazer for $42 on Poshmark. Now this item here, it is a gigantic blazer. I believe it is a size 56 and it's a nice cotton linen blend. It sold for $42. I had it listed at $50 and it sold on Poshmark. I did get this at a garage sale and it was only $5. So I think the takeaway I would say here is that, you know, you find a nice pattern, you find nice material, even if it's not the best brand, it can definitely sell. Especially this time of year, you find a linen, a blazer, a unique size, it's going to do pretty good. Sold this new with tags Talbot's dress for $31. Now this here, the model is the Effortless jersey, I believe is what it's called. I don't know a ton about, obviously, Talbots and dresses, but I was able to kind of look this up on eBay and just get the specifics on it. This is a size small. I had it listed at $40. The woman came in, offered $20. I countered at $30 or $31. I can't remember exactly. $6 buy cost on this one, and this sold quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. Sold this Peter Millar Summer Comfort all over print for $30. Now, I'm not sure if you can really see it here. This has like lemonade on it. Definitely a summer shirt here, summer golf polo shirt. This sold pretty quick. It sold in just about 2 weeks. And this was kind of on the smaller size spectrum. This is a size medium. So glad that I was able to get full price on this thing. It was only a $5 buy cost. Sold this Brooks Brothers Makers vintage dress shirt for $36.90. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. Good item to be on the lookout for. That Brooks Brothers Makers tag there, the Made in USA. Those are popular. People do go after them. Sold this Brooks Brothers Royal Blue men's dress shirt for $19. This was a find at the Goodwill bins. It took a couple months to sell. Probably just a couple dollar buy cost on this. Nothing too special here. Sold this Express men's suit vest for $20. This is the second time this item has sold. It got returned the first time it sold. I believe it sold much more than, I think it sold for like $30 or $27 The first time around, it did sell. This was a $5 buy cost, and I think originally, from the date that I did buy this, it's been about 10 months, so this has taken a while to finally leave, and hopefully this person does not return it. Sold this Hill House women's dress for $50 on Poshmark. Now this took about 2 months to sell, and this pattern here, this is called the basket weave. If you look at this pattern here, pretty nice dress here. Now from this brand, I think they have something called the nap dress or day nap dress, which sells really well if you can find that. Those usually go, I think, about 70 to like 90, somewhere in that range. This was only a $6 buy cost. I was trying to squeeze out a little bit more money from this woman. We went back and forth, but I'm pretty happy with $50 in only paying $6 for this. Sold this Collars & Co. men's new with tags polo shirt, golf polo shirt, for $37.80 on eBay. This was a $9 buy cost. I did buy a wholesale box of these new. This took about 3 months to sell, and I've been selling these Collars & Co. pretty steadily now at this point. I still have a good number to sell, but I am getting close to breaking even at this point, which is definitely good. And then from there, it's all going to be profit. Sold this G4 men's golf polo for $27. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold in just a few months. Now, there is the logo there in case you're not familiar. G4, good brand. Lots of their stuff does sell very well. This item here, this is a small, so if it had been a bigger size, this would have broke the $30 barrier. You find like windbreakers, pants, different stuff from this brand. It can definitely do good. Sold this Marmot women's windbreaker jacket for $25 on Poshmark. Now, this was listed at $40. I went ahead and took the offer. Size on this is a small, and it's pretty worn out, although it's not like it's not damaged or anything like that. It's just seen better days. This was a $7 buy cost, and it took about 5 months to sell. So not the worst, definitely not the greatest flip here. Not the worst one ever. Just an item I'm glad to have moved and out of the store. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $27. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold in just a day, so always good to get a quick flip like that. Really quick flip in this case. Sold this Peter Millar Summer Comfort men's golf polo for $20 on an offer. Now that logo there is the Providence Country Club in Charlotte, although I did not put that in the title or the listing. This took about 8 months to sell, 7 or 8 months to sell, and was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Loft women's trousers pants for $22.50. These sold relatively quick, about 2 months. I could definitely have seen these things sitting for a while. Only a $5 buy cost, so a little bit of profit on this one here. All these Lululemon men's ABC pants for $30 full asking price. This was a lightning quick flip, just a day or two, and only a $5 buy cost on this one here. These can sometimes go like $35, a little bit more, but I definitely priced this to sell. Now, just in case you do see these in the thrift store, sometimes people will miss them because they don't have tags on the inside. You could just look at this front button, flip it over, you'll see the Lululemon logo there, and that will be one indication. You can also look in the back pocket and look there, and you'll see like the style code will be on it. And of course, you sometimes will see the tag on the back there. That's another place to be on the lookout for. Full flip here and some good profit. Now this is a South Africa Canterbury rugby shirt, new with tags. I don't really know much about rugby, and I surely don't know much about rugby in South Africa, but I did pick this up a while back, probably 10 or 11 months. I think I had it at 50 and dropped the price to 45, and it finally sold full asking price. was only a $5 buy cost. So some good profit on this. Unfortunately, I did have to hold this a very long time. I did send out some pretty aggressive offers from time to time, like 30, 35. Even I think I went down into the 20s, but nobody bit. But overall, glad to have this thing sold and definitely some healthy profit. Great flip here, and probably my favorite flip while I was on vacation. This is a Zanella two-piece suit, and it sold full asking price, $80, in just about an hour after listing it my last night of vacation. This was only $11 buy cost, so some great profit on this one. I think that having the blazer be double-breasted with the peak lapel, I think that definitely helped out. I will look more into Zanella, see what is worth selling from this brand, because I do pass them up from time to time. Looks like there is some money to be made, especially with the suits. Sold these new at tag Roundtree New York men's chino khaki pants for $26 on an offer. These sold relatively quick. They sold in just about 6 weeks, maybe less, and were a $5 buy cost. Good flip here, some vintage Polo Ralph Lauren navy 100% linen men's pants. These sold on an offer for $51. I had these listed at $60. And I listed these out, I think, a couple days into my vacation and started getting $40 offers like right away, tons of them. No one was offering $50. So eventually when I got close to when vacation was ending, I decided to counter at $51, $50, and someone bought them. This was just a $5 buy cost, and again, a very quick flip for some really good profit. Sold these Canali men's dress pants for full asking price, $41. This was only a $5 buy cost. They did take a little while to sell. They took about 6 to 7 months to sell. But I think with pants, sometimes you just have to wait for the right buyer to come along, since you have to match up the waist and the inseam. Anyhow, good brand to know. Lots of good stuff from Canali, and it sells well for me. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's blazer sport coat for $35 on an offer. And I just sold this yesterday. I remember I was going back and forth with the guy. This was a $6 buy cost, and I think I had it listed out at $45. The guy came at $28. I came back at like $37 or $38. And then we went back like a bunch. And then finally, I guess he sent $35, and I just decided to accept it. This did sell pretty quick. This sold in just about 2 weeks. So some pretty good profit on this one. Sold this Loft new at tags women's dress for $28 on an offer. And this sold pretty quickly. I think it sold in about 3 to 4 months. Now this was a bins find, so only about a $2 or $3 buy cost on this. Some decent profit. Some people skip over this type of stuff at the Goodwill bins. But you can make a little bit of money, I think, on some of these just like average new at tag brands if it's a good print and stuff. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's white pinpoint Oxford dress shirt for $25. This sold quick. This sold in just about a week and was a $5 buy cost. Sold this Brooks Brothers blazer for $35 on an offer. It was a $6 buy cost, and it took about 6 weeks to sell, somewhere in that range. Now this Brooks Brothers blazer here, this is the Brooks Cool model, which is, like the summer model. It's very lightweight, very travel friendly. So definitely ideal for whoever's buying it, considering we're going into summer. Pretty cool flip here. This is a Tommy Bahama shirt. It's got, of course, this embroidery on the back with the marlin, and this size is huge. This is for a 5XB. Now, I posted this up a couple days ago, and it sold pretty quick. It sold in about a day. I think I had this listed at $40 and took an offer for $30 on this with a $5 buy cost. Now, there is some damage on the shirt around the collar. If you look like right here, there's a little bit of damage. I wasn't sure how that would affect the value. And then there's also like a couple very light stains on the front. Look like coffee stains, nothing too big. But I wasn't really too sure how that was going to affect the value. When I first picked this up, I thought I would get, I would shoot for $35 at least. but as I started looking over the shirt, it wasn't in the best condition. Decided to go ahead and take the $30 offer on this one. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $25, full asking price. Now, I did mark this one down because there was a little stain or something on it. The stain is so small, though. I mean, it's going to come out in just probably a couple washes, or would be pretty easy if you just treated it a few times. But I had to disclose it, and I wanted to get this thing moved, and it did. It sold quick. It sold in just about 2 weeks, and this was just a $5 buy cost. With these white shirts with Brooks Brothers, you got to be careful. You know, those stains, if even there's a small stain or hole or anything like that, it's going to severely affect the value. Pretty much any men's, nice clothing, if there's any stain or hole or anything, you're pretty much screwed. With a hole, you're pretty much screwed. With a stain, you might be able to get it out. And actually, most of the time, you can get it out. But you got to be careful when you're buying that stuff. Definitely something to consider. Sold this Ermenegildo Zegna men's black blazer for $55 on an offer. I believe I had this listed at $70, and it is a wool cashmere blend, although it is like 1% cashmere. This took about 2 months to sell and was a $6 buy cost, so some pretty good profit on this one here. Good name to be on the lookout for, just in case you're not familiar. Ermenegildo Zegna. Good for a lot of men's stuff in terms of blazers, shirts, dress pants. You can make some pretty good money on those, if you find the right item. Sold this new with tags Joseph A. Bank Traveler shirt on an offer for $20. This sold quick. This sold in just about a week when I was on vacation. Normally, I probably would have countered a little bit more on this, and I think I would have got it. But this was I had this listed out at $27, and, it was a quick flip. Made a little bit of money on it. Sold this J. Crew women's blazer for $38. Now, this is a nice blazer here, and I have to admit this outsold. I don't know if that's the right term. It sold for full asking price. I didn't think this was going to sell as well as it did. I thought I might have to take like an upper 20 offer, but I think the suede elbow patches definitely helped it out. It's a good blend. It was only $6, and it sold pretty quick. It sold in just about a month. Sold these Ermenegildo Zegna pants for $32 on an offer. These took about 2 months to sell and were a $5 buy cost. This is an item here I might have countered on, but I was pretty happy to get the 32 considering I only paid $5 for these. But I listed these I think at like 40. I probably would have countered at like 35 and been able to get the person to buy it, I think. But I went ahead and just decided to accept it. Sold these Nike golf pants for $15. Not a good flip here as well. These Nike pants, the golf pants, just too saturated. They don't sell well. I was buying a number of them for a short period. Luckily, I stopped, and I've been able to sell most of these off and make a little bit of money. Obviously, not much when they're selling like $15, $18. But this was a $5 buy cost. I think this one here took about 5 to 6 months to sell. Sold these Bonobos pants for $13 on an offer. Not a very good flip here. These were a $5 buy cost. They've been in the store an entire year. I'm not picking up Bonobos. I stopped picking them up a long time ago. They just don't sell the chinos. Some of the stuff I do pick up, of course, like the blazers, but the pants, definitely not, unless, of course, they are new with tags. So this one's out the door, and definitely good that it has moved. Sold this Joseph A. Bank men's cotton linen blue houndstooth blazer for $39. This was a $6 buy cost. It's really a nice blazer. Unfortunately, it did take a while to sell. This took about 8 to 9 months to sell. I think sometimes that's just the case with Joseph A. Bank. You've got to find the right buyer for this stuff. But people will buy it. It is, of course, grown men, older men who are buying this mainly. And if they see something they like, they're going to go ahead and purchase it. They're not going to be too concerned with the price because this stuff in the stores is very expensive when it's new. Anyhow, nice jacket here. Hopefully it works out for the man who bought it. Sold this Polo Ralph Lauren men's blue pinpoint Oxford for $22 on an offer. Now this did take a while to sell, and looking at it, I'm not really sure why. It took about 7 or 8 months. Was a $5 buy cost on this. So the profit isn't great, but you know, it is a little bit of money, but taking so long to sell, definitely not ideal. Still looking at this, I'm not really sure why this didn't sell a little bit quicker. I don't think I had it priced too high. I think it was priced in maybe like the high 20s or like 27, something like that. Sold this Nui Tags pack dress for $32 on eBay. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, I did not put this up on Poshmark. I'm not really sure why. I think it was the timing or something. But I think this probably would have been able to sell a little bit quicker on Poshmark. Not that it took forever on eBay. This took, I think, about 5 months maybe to sell, somewhere in that range. It was a $6 buy cost, so about a $20 profit on this item here. Sold this Gap corduroy blazer for $30 on an offer. Now, I do think I had this listed in the low 40s. And these corduroy blazers, I tend to be pretty flexible on the price just because they take up so much space. And when you move them out, it really opens up, you know, 2 or 3, like room for 2 or 3 dress shirts. This here was $6, and I think this took about 5 to 6 months to sell. It wasn't super quick, but definitely, you know, I made a little bit of profit on this one. Sold this Collars & Co. men's white polo shirt for $35 on Poshmark. Now I got a whole bundle of these on a wholesale deal, so the average cost came out to $9 each, and I've been selling these off, you know, week by week, steady. They've been selling. This item here, I think I had it listed at $40 on Poshmark, and the guy sent an offer for $30. I countered at $35, and he accepted. Sold this Nui Tags Banana Republic shirt here for $23. I believe this was an offer. I think I had it at $25 or $26. Good thing here is this sold super quick. This sold in just a week. Don't really see that often with some of these mall brands when they're new like this. They sell, but they usually take a little bit, you know, they usually take a couple months to sell. This was a $5 buy cost on this item. Sold this George Washington polo for only $13. Now this is damaged a little bit. It's missing a button. It has a stain. So I was happy to take the money on this one. And this was, I believe, a $5 buy cost. So obviously really no profit at all on this. And worst of all, this took a long time to sell. This took about 11 months to sell. Sold this Orvis denim jean shirt for a whopping $10. This was just a $5 buy cost. So obviously this was pretty much no money made on this. Just happy at this point that this thing sold. Now, if you're wondering why it sold for so little, it's missing like 1 or 2 buttons. It's got a couple stains on it. Clearly it's an item I probably should have took back. I shouldn't have bought it in the first place, but I probably should have took it back once I saw those stains. Overall though, happy to have this thing out of the store. Great flip here. Brand name is Baroni. This is a men's sport coat, a nice black blue houndstooth pattern. Now, this sold full asking price, $65. The guy sent me a $60 offer, and then like this all was happening while I was sleeping, and then he canceled it and came back and just decided to buy it. These can sell very well. I sold a window pane one, I think for like 70 or 80 a couple months ago. This one did take longer to sell. This took about 6 months to sell. That's just sometimes how it goes with blazers and in clothes in general. This was a $6 buy cost. Sold this Mark Sanchez jersey for $34. Now, this was a $5 buy cost. Got this at a garage sale. And jerseys, they are my favorite thing to flip. They're very easy in terms of customer satisfaction. People really never complain anytime I don't think I've ever had an INAD with a jersey. This was dirty, so I did give it an oxy soak, and it did take everything out, and it looks very clean at this point now, as you can see. So a good flip here on this one. I think the original price was $40, and this took about a month to sell, maybe 3 weeks. Sold this Ralph Lauren window pane sport coat. Now this is a nice item here. It's 100% linen, and I had it listed at $55. It sold for $47.50. A $6 buy cost on this. Only downside is this took a while to sell. This took about 8 months to sell, which definitely surprised me. But this is an item I would surely pick up again. A really nice sport coat here. I'm sure the customer will be happy. So when I bought this item here, I thought I initially had regrets. Now this is a Peter Millar Summer Comfort. It's got that Sea Island golf logo up there. And I did pay $5 for this. Listed it at 28 and it sold very quickly. It sold in just about 2 or 3 days, full asking price. So a good flip here. I imagine that Sea Island, it must be a nice golf course or club or something. I'm not really too sure. I did look this up briefly and it looked like one similar had sold for 30. So I guess I shouldn't be super shocked. But again, I was a little bit concerned that this one was going to sit. Sold this H&M 100% linen blazer for $34 on an offer. This was a $6 buy cost and it only took about a month to sell. Sometimes, you know, it's not about the brand, it's about the material, the style, the timing. And that was definitely the case here when I bought this H&M linen blazer, something ideal for this time of year. Sold this Giorgio Armani men's double-breasted blazer for $75, full asking price. This was only a $6 buy cost, and this took about a month to sell. So a great flip here. I know at one point this had like 18 or 20 watchers, so I knew it was going to sell. I wasn't sure if I would get the full asking price on this one. It doesn't always work out that way, and I would have probably taken 60 or 65 on it, but someone just swooped in, bought it for 75, and I'm going to get this thing sent out to them. Sold these Brooks Brothers Madison men's dress pants for $23. This was a bins find, so probably just about a $2 buy cost on these here. And they took about 5 months to sell. Now, I am pretty much on the fence with Brooks Brothers with their dress pants. They do sell okay, but it's something, you know, I'm only going to pick up, I think, at this point if I really need inventory, if they're really clean, if they've got a really good fabric in them or something else. Because it's just, I think the market's pretty saturated. Although these do sell, you know, they do take time. So if you do need inventory, you want like a $10 or $15 profit, I think this could be an okay item for it. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's sport coat for $45 on Poshmark. I had this listed out at $60, and this took about a month to sell, if that, maybe just like 3 weeks. This was only a $6 buy cost. And this item here, it is a silk wool blend. Very nice, very comfortable. I'm sure the person buying it will be satisfied. Sold this Redhead men's short sleeve button-down shirt for $14. Now this sold quick. This sold in about 2 weeks. I got this at a garage sale. And I bought something else from the woman and I felt kind of guilty. So I just decided to buy this as well. I think it was a $5 buy cost. Yeah, $5 buy cost. So really not much profit on this one here. Really probably should not have bought it, but it's out the door. Sold these vintage Nike sweatshorts for $19. This was a find at the Goodwill bins. So probably like a $2 or $3 buy cost. These took a while to sell. They took about 10 months to sell. Probably not something I would pick up again. Definitely not at the retail store. But, you know, some of this Nike stuff, the vintage stuff, it can sell really well for certain things, like tracksuits, things like that. Sold multiple items to the same woman. She bought 4 things. So I gave her a pretty good discount on some of this stuff. These are some True Religion Billy jeans, I want to say. Is that it? Yeah, Billy, the mid-rise straight. These took about 6 months to sell, somewhere in there. I think these were about a $6, $7 buy cost. Those sold for $20. A Calvin Klein dress here. This sold for $20. I think this is new with tags, and this took about 7 or 8 months. This is a Talbot's new with tags, 100% silk blazer, women's blazer. This sold for $30. She offered $30 on it, or I think I had $40. She offered $30, and I accepted. This sold quick. This sold probably in under a month. And then these are just some Express pants, new tag pants. This is the Express Editor. Not too familiar with that model there. These sold for 18. She offered 18. So overall, I made $88 on this one transaction, or it sold for $88. And then my buy cost on this was probably, I want to say, somewhere between $22 to $24. So some good profit from those 4 items that were sold. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's tuxedo shirt for $36 on an offer. This had a lot of views, a lot of watchers. If you do come across these tuxedo shirts, they are a good item to pick up, especially with brands like Brooks Brothers, Polo Ralph Lauren, the really good stuff. Some other brands, not so much, like Joseph A. Bank. I probably would not pick it up unless it was new with tags. This took not long at all to sell. It took about a month, possibly 6 weeks, and only a $5 buy cost on this. Sold this Brooks Brothers tuxedo shirt for $39. I believe I sent an offer out on this. This took about 6 weeks to sell and was a $5 buy cost. These Brooks Brothers tuxedo shirts tend to do pretty well, go in that 35 to 40 range. I sold another one of these just yesterday or maybe the day before as well. Keep an eye out for these. These can do pretty good. Sold this Joseph A. Bank men's silk wool sport coat. Nice gold color here and kind of a faint window pattern going through it. Now, this was a very quick sale. This sold for $30 on Poshmark. Kind of went back and forth with the guy, and this sold in just about a week. A $6 buy cost here, and very encouraging to see Joseph A. Bank sell so quick. I'll have to keep an eye out for items like this in the future. Sold these Brooks Brothers women's navy pants for $10 on an offer. Now, this just wasn't a good pickup on my part. This was a find at the Goodwill bins, so probably just like a $2 buy cost. These do have some damage that I missed, and these took about 6 or 7 months to sell, so I'm definitely glad that these are out of the store. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's white pinpoint Oxford for full asking price, $30. Just a $5 buy cost here. And this sold quick. This sold in just a few days. This one sold quicker than I thought it was going to take, and I did not really expect it to get full asking price at $30, but I will surely take it. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren jean shorts or jorts for $27, full asking price on these. Now, this was definitely not really a good flip. You can see this item here. They're not actually like jean shorts. Looks like someone just took some scissors and just cut off the bottom. I did get these at Goodwill for $5, so surely selling them for $27, there's a little bit of profit there, but these did take a while to sell. They took about 8 or 9 months to sell. Not something I would recommend picking up. Possibly if you get them for like $1 or $2, I guess it could make sense then. But this item here, definitely not one I will be buying again in the future. Sold this Talbot's women's new tag blazer. Now the size on this is a 16WP petite, and this item here sold full asking price, $41, a nice quick flip. It sold in just a week and was a $6 buy cost. Now, funny enough, someone on Poshmark was hitting me up trying to get this for like $22, $25, and I countered at like $30, $32, something like that, and really stood my ground, and they just kind of went away. And then someone came along on eBay and bought it full asking price. So it definitely worked out in my favor here. Sold this National Wheelchair Basketball Association Nike quarter zip for $20. Now this is new with tags and was a $5 buy cost. Took quite a while to sell. Took about 8 months to sell, somewhere in that range. And I had this listed, I believe, around $30. You know, I hoped that this would sell for a little bit more and a little bit quicker. It just wasn't the case. This got no traction on eBay, and it just wasn't the situation where I felt that I could negotiate at all really on this item here. So went ahead, took the $20 offer, Not the best flip on this one here. Sold this Bonobos men's blazer for $40 on an offer. Had this listed at $55. This was a $6 buy cost and it took about 3 months to sell. Now, Bonobos, I do like selling their blazers. I find they move well. There's quite a bit of demand for them. This one here is just a tan or beige cotton blazer, perfect going into summer. Pretty lightweight, not as lightweight as something like linen, but cotton is definitely something you can work with, I think, in the summertime. Be on the lookout for Bonobos. Their blazers, their sport coats, they can flip and make you some pretty good money. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren men's cargo pants for full asking price, $40. Now, these are brand new with tags, and I did get these in January of this year. So these took about 5-6 months to sell, somewhere in that range, probably closer to 5 months. And these were a $5 buy cost. Sold this lot of Peter Millar Summer Comfort polo shirts for $39.60 full asking price. Really good flip here, I thought. Now, these were $5 each, I believe. It's possible I did get these at the bins, but I'm pretty sure I paid $5 each for these. And I definitely was not expecting $39, thinking these would probably sell between $33 to $35. But I think the bigger takeaway here is definitely around lotting things up. I think that's going to be a big trend we're going to see as postage prices go up. You're going to have to start getting more creative, lotting stuff together. Now, these did take a while to sell. They took probably around 7 to 8 months. So I can't really say this is like the greatest flip ever because it took so long. But I will say the price and the profit I'm very happy with. And definitely, I think one other thing I got to mention here is that the person who bought it, he was a repeat buyer. So he had bought from me before. So he had that positive experience and he came back. He got something else. Always a good thing to see. Wish that I saw it more in my store. Sold this Ralph Lauren navy blue blazer with the gold buttons for $45 full asking price. This was a $6 buy cost and sold in about 2 months. I actually just listed one of these out. I found one of these in a much bigger size last weekend. I'm going to ask quite a bit more for it because the size, I think it's like a 54L or something like that. Anyhow, these items here, a good one to be on the lookout for. They sell well, really a timeless piece. You know, people have been wearing this style, this navy blue with the gold buttons, pretty much forever or for as long as I can recall. And it goes really well with a pair of tan khakis, tan chinos. Versatile. You could wear it to a wedding. You could wear it in the office. You know, definitely a good piece of clothing here. Sold this Woolrich Henley knit sweater for $26. Had this listed at $30 and took the $26 offer. This took about 3 to 4 months to sell and was a $5 buy cost. You know, Woolrich, I really like the company. I think they make some okay things in terms of their products, especially their outerwear, but not everything flips great with them. So you do have to be careful in terms of what you're buying. Sold this Joseph Abboud men's dress shirt for $30. Now, this shirt doesn't really have anything special about it. You know, the pattern's very dull, the color's dull, and there's no alarming pattern or cool pattern on this shirt. But it is, as you can see, new with tags and also is a massive size, 5XLT. That definitely helped it out. So this was a $5 buy cost. Originally listed this at $35, and this sold pretty quickly. It sold in just about 2 months. And again, it sold for $30. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's black-white houndstooth blazer for $40. Now, this is an unstructured blazer here. And the gentleman who bought this, you know, I listed this out, I think at $45. He asked for $35. I came back and said the best I could do was $40. and he did accept. He let me know he was going to use it for a job offer. So best of luck to him. This was a $6 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just a couple weeks. Good item here. You know, this is cotton, very lightweight, and of course, it's unstructured. It's not lined. There's no shoulder pads like a lot of like many blazers do have. These unstructured blazers are better for this time of year. Sold this Ralph Lauren seersucker men's shirt for $25 on an offer. Now, I had this listed. I think I overpriced this item. This was listed at $28. And, you know, the person sent me the offer for $25 and I accepted. I would have gone much lower on this because this has been in my store a long time. It's been in my store about 11 months or so. And it's definitely the case that I did overprice this. I did get this, I believe, at the Goodwill retail. So this would have been a $5 buy cost on this item. Sold this Kroon unstructured blazer for $37. Now this was a bins find, so a good find at the bins. Probably about a $3 buy cost on this. And this took about 6 months to sell. This is a nice blazer for the summer. It is, of course, unstructured, which means essentially there's no shoulder pads, there's no lining in it. It's very versatile. You know, those unstructured blazers are better for this time of year as they're more versatile. You can travel with them. They're more comfortable than just the typical or the traditional blazer. Just in case you're not familiar, this is the label for Kroon. It's nothing super special, but, you know, definitely if you can get this cheap enough, a blazer like this, it can make you a little bit of money. Sold this Gap men's long sleeve button down shirt. Now this is nothing too special here. It is new with tags and it is a large. This sold on an offer for $18 and I believe this was a $5 buy cost. So would have liked to see this sell for a bit more here. But it is good that it finally did sell. This took about 7 months to sell. Don't sell too many women's skirts. Brand here is Blank NYC. Can't honestly say I know too much about this brand, but I did find this in the Goodwill for, I think this was $5, and you can see there it is new with tags. Now this was, I guess, selling at Nordstrom for $98, and the person either never wore it or Nordstrom did go ahead and donate it. I think Nordstrom must have donated it probably because there is a Nordstrom rack right near the Goodwill that I got this from. So this sold for $20. I think I had it listed for $28 and it did sit for a while. It took about 7 months to sell. Good flip here, a Ralph Lauren women's dress, as you can see here with the AI model picture. Now, I was pretty nervous buying this just because I have an item from Ralph Lauren that is a jumpsuit that I picked up at the bins, and it's been in my store like a year and a half. It's new with tags, just like this one is here. But I guess it's the style. I guess people don't really like the style of the other one. This one here sold very quickly. I had it listed at $45, and this sold in about 10 days. The woman offered $5, or sorry, not $5. She offered $30 and I countered at $35. The buy cost on this was only $6, so some nice quick profit on this one here. Sold this J. Crew men's blazer for $30. Now this item here has been in the store about 7 months, so it took about 7 months to sell. It was a $6 buy cost. Now, the model here is the Thompson, which is a pretty good model, I find, from J. Crew. That and the Ludlow is really good. That sells very well for me. This is a flex wool, so I believe there's probably some elastane or something in there. But to sell a wool blazer this time of year is always good. It's definitely not the season for it. So I will definitely... That was one of the reasons I did take kind of the lower offer on this one. That and the fact that it's been in my store for 7 months, definitely it was time to go at that point. Great brand to be on the lookout for here. This is Sunspell. It is a British brand, and this is just a men's polo. It's sold for $45, a size small. This I did find in Wyoming for $7 at a thrift store. If you haven't seen that video, check that out, that Jackson, Wyoming, come thrift with me video. So this was a $7 buy cost. I listed it at 50, immediately started getting offers at 40. Was always countering at 45. Finally, someone accepted. Sunspell, it just sells so quickly. There's like 350 sold. It may be like 60 or 70 actually active. This sold in just about a day or two of listing it. Great flip here. Brand is Bonobos, and this is a men's unstructured blazer, navy blue blazer. This sold for $60. Took about 2 months to sell and was only a $6 buy cost. Now, this item here does have, of course, that Vital Barberis Canaconico, which is a very prestigious fabric mill in Italy. Definitely be on the lookout for it. It could boost the value for just average brands. Size is not big on this. Doesn't really matter with Bonobos. It's a 38S. But a good flip here and definitely some solid profit. Sold this Armani suit for $75. Now, this was a pretty interesting sale here. My buy cost on this was $11. And when I brought this home, and I did notice this in the store, the crotch area on the pants had a little snag. It wasn't like a huge hole or anything, but a little bit of a hole. So I wasn't really super sure how I should price these. I think I started about $115 on these and set the offers at $75. Sure enough, I posted this, and within an hour or 2 hours, I got an offer for $75. So I just went ahead and accepted it, not really knowing how that damage in the crotch area would affect the value of this. Plus, it might be a while before someone with this specific size is really looking for an Armani suit. So some good profit overall on this one. Too bad it did have that damage. I would have pushed for like $125, $150 on the item if it had been very clean, nothing wrong with it. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's blue pinpoint Oxford for $26. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just about a month. I'm always on the lookout for these. They can make you a little bit of profit, $15 to $20 usually when I sell these. And here's the second part of that sale, the Joseph A. Bank pants. Now, these sold very quick for just about a week, for $24. They are new with tags. One of the reasons I took the offer, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find the tag here. There it is. One of the reasons I did take the offer on this is that the inseam is really short. It's a 26. That always scares me with pants. So usually I'm willing to accept, a much lower offer on things like that. I try and avoid it in the store, but sometimes I just forget to check the length on it. And of course, I'm not actually getting out a measuring tape. I'm just kind of holding it up to my waist, getting a sense of how short the pants may be. But this was a $5 buy cost, a nice quick flip on this one. Sold these Gap women's downtown khakis for $23. Nothing super special here. These are, of course, brand new, and that's always going to help an item sell. These sold for $23. I think I had them listed at $26 or $27. A $5 buy cost, and they took about 5 months to sell. Sold these Austin Reed men's dress pants for $25. Now, these are unhemmed, so the person will have to get these hemmed up. And this person bought something else from me as well. They bought some Joseph A. Bank pants with very short inseam on them. I think the inseam is 26. Should be getting to that item here in just a second. But this is a okay item, I would say, in general, being new like this. It'll make you a little bit of money. This was just a $5 buy cost, and this took about 2.5 months to sell. Sold this Joseph A. Bank men's seersucker blazer for $35. This was a $6 buy cost, and this did take a while to sell. This took about 7 months, which is definitely longer than expected. I believe for a while I had this priced a little bit too high, maybe like $45, and I think even worse, the offers were like floored at like $38 or $39. But this is an item I would definitely pick up again. I would probably just list it low 40s, set the offers down into the 30s, and kind of hope for the best offer possible Seersucker is something I love to sell. Great this time of year, and even good as you get into the fall, really. Sold these Brooks Brothers dress pants for $22. This was a $5 buy cost, I believe, on these. Possible I did get them at the bins. It would have been cheaper. Now, Brooks Brothers dress pants, I have sold a number of them. I am definitely starting to get much more picky, although they will sell if you give them enough time. That's kind of the case with this one here. It took about 7 to 8 months to sell. Obviously, not ideal, not the amount of profit I'm really looking for here, but the item did eventually move, and hopefully it does not get returned. Sold this J. Crew orange-red floral dress for $29 on an offer. This took about 3, maybe 4 months to sell and was a $6 buy cost. Of course, this is new with tags. You can see the tag up there. And this item here, I would say in general, with these types of dresses, these new with tag from just kind of middle of the road brands like your J. Crew, Banana Republic, Gap, things like that. If I do find those, I will pick those up because the dresses are only $6 and you can make a little bit of money, usually like 25 to 40, depending on the style, the brand, the size, things like that. Sold this Brooks Brothers blue pinpoint Oxford for $24. Now, normally I don't like to go under 25 for these, but 24, it's just another dollar there. So this was a $5 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just a couple weeks. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren women's jean shorts, or jorts, as they call them in the South. Now, this was a $5 buy cost. These sold for $20 on an offer. Had these listed at $25. I do believe the men's sell better. If you know, definitely comment. This is not an item I would pick up again. Possibly, would I pick this up at the bins? Probably I would pick this up at the Goodwill bins because of how cheap it is. But this is, at $5, just not enough meat on the bone for something like this. And this did take a while to sell. This took about 10 months to sell. Sold these new with tag Joseph A. Bank men's linen pants for $34 on an offer. Had these listed for $40 and sent out that $34 offer. Had a few watchers on this item here. Of course, it is a great time of year to be buying linen. Now, these pants are new with tags. Hopefully you can see that there up in the corner. And the size on this, I don't think it's really a great size. It's a 36 by 29, kind of a shorter inseam. But nevertheless, this was only a $5 buy cost, so some pretty decent profit, probably about $22 profit or so on this one. Sold these Lands' End men's white chino pants for $20. This was a $2 to $3 buy cost because I did get these at the Goodwill bins. And they took a little while to sell. They took about 6 months, and these were a 34 by 30 size, so a pretty common size. I think that kind of gives you the idea. There's just not much money to be made with Lands' End. I'm sure there's some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, it's either got to be like vintage, new with tags, possibly sport coats and blazers, things like that. You're not going to make too much money selling pants and shirts with them, even new with tags, and definitely stay away from the pre-owned stuff with this. It's going to be too saturated. It's not going to make you much. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's pinpoint Oxford for $28 on an offer. This was listed for only a week or so, and I had it listed at like 32 or 33. And took the $28 offer. Just a $5 buy cost on this item here. Sold this Ralph Lauren navy blazer with the gold buttons for $40 on eBay. This was a very quick sale. This sold in about a week and was a $6 buy cost. Now, originally I listed this for $55, but a guy wrote me a message very nicely and asked for it for $40. He is overseas. That's one of the reasons I did take this, because it's very difficult. I don't even think you can get a return if something goes overseas. My responsibility is just to get it, as many of you know, to the shipping center at eBay and then it's pretty much guaranteed I'm going to get my money. Don't have to worry about a return or anything like that. Sold this new Tags Loft women's double-breasted blazer for $28 on Poshmark. This was a $6 buy cost, and this took about 3 months to sell. These blazers from, mall brands can do pretty well in terms of getting you like that $25 to $40 range. So be on the lookout for them and don't pass them up if you're looking to make just a little bit of profit here or there. Sold these Taylor vintage new Tags men's shorts for $22. These took about 4 or 5 months to sell and were a $5 buy cost. Don't really pick up Taylor vintage too often. This is the time of year you expect something like this to sell. I think I picked this up in the winter time. But of course, new Tag stuff, I am not going to not pick it up because it will make you a little bit of money. Sold this Roan men's button-down shirt for $43. Now I had this listed out at $50. Someone offered $40 and I countered at $43. This was a find here. This is, as you can see, new Tags. This was a find at Burlington. It was $13 and this sold very quickly. This sold in just about probably less than a week, maybe just a few days. Be on the lookout for Roan. A lot of their stuff can sell well. I wouldn't say pick up absolutely everything, especially pre-owned small things, but this brand can definitely move and make you some pretty good profit. Sold these vintage Umbro men's shorts for $29 on eBay. These took about 4 months to sell, and this was a Goodwill Bins find, a nice find here, probably just about $1.50 buy cost, because these things are very lightweight. Inside the tag here, you can see the Made in USA, that vintage tag. Be on the lookout for Umbros. They can make you some decent money. These can sell $30 to $35, the vintage ones. Sold these Izod new Tag chino pants for $21. I believe that was an offer I accepted, and I had these at $25. I may have sent out the $21 offer. This was a bins find, so probably about a $3 buy cost, and these took about 5 months to sell. Sold this J. Crew Ludlow blazer for $40 on an offer. Now this item here, it is a good item. I would pick it up again, but unfortunately this one took a very long time to sell. It took about 8 or 9 months. This was a $6 buy cost. And this thing does have a lot going for it. Very nice striped. And it's got the Somolos fabric mill inside it. Unfortunately, or what I think has happened with this one, is that the size is just very small. It's a 36S. I think if this had been like a 40 or something, I think it would have moved super quick, or at least quicker than 8 or 9 months. So I would pick this up again any day of the week at $6. There was some pretty good profit. It just didn't move as quickly as I wanted. Sold this Yves Saint Laurent men's striped shirt for $30. Now that was full asking price on this. This does have a small stain on it. It's you can pretty much not even tell if you're wearing it. But it is something I'm going to disclose. And it'll probably come out, with some washes as well. This was a $5 buy cost. It took about 2 months to sell. Be on the lookout for Yves Saint Laurent. Definitely a great brand to resell. Sold this Brooks Brothers bathing suit swim trunks for $15. Obviously nothing too special here. I love selling Brooks Brothers, but their bathing suits are just not an item that resells well. This was a Goodwill Bins find, so probably just a $1.50 buy cost, and these took about 5 months to sell. Sold this Brooks Brothers lot of 3 men's dress shirts very quickly. These sold within an hour of listing them. I listed these 3 out at $55, got an offer at $45, and went ahead and took it. They were a $5 buy cost each, so 15 into 45. I will take that all day, and of course I think this definitely opens up that window or that opportunity to start lotting more which I've been talking about on this channel, and I've been doing with other brands. Not so much with Brooks Brothers. I do it a little bit, but I'm going to start looking into doing this more, especially when I go to the Goodwill bins and I find just like a Brooks Brothers shirt there. I'll be sure to pick it up next time. Sold this Brooks Brothers Makers for $37 full asking price. This was a $5 buy cost, and this sold very quickly in just a day or two. Now, this did have some sort of small mark on the shirt. It was kind of in a weird spot. So normally I like to get about 40 to 45 on items like this, but I will happily take $37 on this, especially because this just sold in just about a day or two. Sold these Wilson track pants, windbreaker track pants for $25. I believe that was the full asking price. These took a while to sell. They took about 10 or 11 months. Not something I would recommend buying. I did get these at the Goodwill bins, and Wilson's just not something, people are just not really searching for an item like this, especially because it is just plain black. It is lined on the inside, which is kind of nice. But again, just being nylon on the outside, lined on the inside, and just plain, not really going to move or sell for much. Sold this Joseph Abood men's white pinpoint Oxford shirt for $24. Now this is new with tags, and this was a $5 buy cost. This sold pretty quick. This sold in just a couple weeks. Good flip here. Polo Ralph Lauren men's beige chino pants. New with tags, sold full asking price, $45. I think the size on these are a 38-30 or somewhere around that range. This was only a $5 buy cost, and this took about 3 months to sell, so a good flip here. Sold this window pane Banana Republic men's sport coat for $47.50 on an offer. Had it listed at $55 and sent out that $47.50 offer. This was a $6 buy cost, and this sold pretty quick. This sold in under a week. Now this is, just a great item. The pattern is very nice on this. It's also 100% linen. I knew I was going to have no problems moving this once I found this and checked it out and made sure there was no damage or anything on it. Sold this Patrick Certain Denver Broncos new with tag jersey for $46. This was an $11 buy cost, and this sold quick. This sold in just a few days. Got a bunch of these Bronco new with tag jerseys at a TJ Maxx in Jackson, Wyoming, and I am starting to get these up. I expect to make some pretty good profit on them. Sold this Brooks Brothers blue pinpoint Oxford dress shirt for $25. This was a fast seller as well. This sold in just about 3 or 4 days and was a $5 buy cost. I've got a good number of these in the store. These tend to sell about once a week. I sell the blue ones, the white ones, and they don't make you a ton, maybe a $15 to $20 profit, but they definitely do add up. Sold this new with tag Collars & Co. men's polo for $37 on an offer. Now, I did get a box of these, a wholesale box of these. Check out the video if you have not seen it. Got these, I can't remember the name of the site that I did buy these from, but they averaged $9. I got 40 pieces, and I've been selling these off one by one. They are returns that came back to Collars & Co. And then this company, sold them. They're all pretty much new with tags. There was a few not new with there was a few that were new, but they didn't still have the tags attached. Anyhow, this took about 2 months to sell, and I have been steadily selling off the Collars & Co. New with tag items from that purchase. Good flip here, Pinehurst US Open polo. Brand is Peter Millar Summer Comfort. Those Peter Millar Summer Comforts with a good country club or something else on the logo, golf logo there, is going to sell well. Here we have, again, the US Open Pinehurst, and that character there, his name is Putter Boy. Make sure that you do put that in the title if you do find him. That will help push it out to the right audience. This was a $5 buy cost, and this took about 2 months to sell, probably closer to about 6 weeks. Sold these Polo Golf window pane pants for $23 on an offer. Had these listed at $27 or $28. I can't remember specifically. These did take a while to sell. They took about 6 months to sell and were a $5 buy cost. I would say something like this, probably worth it at the Goodwill bins, not at the retail store, not paying, I pay $5 for pants. So I would not probably buy this again. Sold these Judy Blue and New Tag jeans for $39. Now, this model here is the high waist, and it's also the wide leg. I'm not sure on the specific model name, but that's some of the key features of this pair of jeans here. This was a $7 buy cost, and these took about 5 or 6 months to sell. They took a while. I think I had them in the low 40s and had a number of watchers. Thought I'd end up selling this probably in the low 30s, but someone came along and I think I sent an offer for $39 and they accepted. So good flip here overall. It did take a little while to sell, but some solid profit on it. Sold this J. Jill shirt dress for $37. This was a $6 buy cost at Goodwill, and this took about 3 months to sell. This item here, it's 100% linen, and it's definitely a pretty unique item. I mean, the purple, the linen, and I think this is a pretty big size too. But overall, you see linen, you see new tags, probably going to be a pickup for the most part, especially a nice long shirt dress like this. Sold these J. Crew Flex chino pants for $28. Now, these are new with tags, and this was a $5 buy cost. This sold in just about a month. So a pretty good flip here for about an $18 profit on this one. Even better, I did find a pair of these just like them today. This one is a 3630. The one I found today is a 3430. So that definitely gives me some insight into what this market is going for. I don't think I'm going to hold out, or I don't think I'm going to sit around and take like a $21, $22 offer, knowing I should be able to get probably at least $25, $26 on these. Sold this Eaton dress shirt for $23. This was a $5 buy cost and took about 4 months to sell. Now, typically, Eaton doesn't make crazy money. Their dress shirts, just kind of the regular ones like this one. But usually you're going to get closer, I think, upper 20s, lower 30s, mid 30s. And this one here is the super slim. So not being too sure or too confident this would be able to move very quickly, I went ahead and just decided to take the $23 offer on this. Sold these new with tag Calvin Klein men's chino pants for $30, full asking price. This was a $5 buy cost, so a decent enough flip here. Only issue is these did take a while to sell. They took about 7 months to sell. Don't sell too many pajamas. Here is a pair of Detroit Lions NFL team apparel pajama pants, men's pajama bottoms. These sold for $15 on an offer. Had them listed, I think, about $18 or $19. And this was a Goodwill bins find. So probably, paying by the pound there. This was probably just a dollar buy cost. Not a ton of profit on this one, but, pajamas, sometimes you can make some okay money if you find the right thing, but I just don't sell a ton of them. This one, I think, took about 5 months to sell. Good flip here. A brand is called Cardinal of Canada. It is a good one to know for lots of stuff. It's not really, I would say, a fast mover from my experience, one that's going to sell really quick, but it'll make you pretty good money. This one here sold for $55. It's a nice blue herringbone, a $6 buy cost on this, but they do some other stuff as well, some jackets, coats and jackets that sell well with this brand. So be on the lookout. Cardinal of Canada makes some quality stuff. Sold these Peter Millar pants for $26. This was a $5 buy cost here, and the size on these is a 44-30. Now, this model is the signature sateen, which I would not recommend probably picking this up if you're going to be paying like $4 or $5 or more. This one sold for 26, so there was a little bit of money, but it did take a while to sell. It took about 7 to 8 months to sell. There are I think, some pretty good models from Peter Millar in terms of pants, like the EB66, but the Signature Sateen, which is more of just like a khaki, I would probably not pick these up unless you're getting them real cheap. Sold this Vineyard Vines chambray women's shirt dress for $23. This item here took a while to sell. It took about 8 months or so to sell. Just not a terrific item to hear, not something you're going to see a ton of money being made on. Not really sure why I picked this up, because this was a $6 buy cost, I'm pretty sure. Overall, I'm sure there's some other things from Vineyard Vines in the women's department that sell or resell well. I know the men's category is much better than women's, and this is probably something I could have just left behind. Sold these Brooks Brothers patchwork men's shorts for $20. This was a $5 buy cost, so not a ton of profit here on this one, and it sold pretty quick. It sold in about 3 months. Good item, I would say, in general. It's just not going to make you a ton of money. If you could get this, if I could have gotten this cheaper, I would definitely say this is, probably a win, but only paying $5, selling it for $20, just not a lot of profit on this one here. Sold these Polo Ralph Lauren men's seersucker shorts for $18. These took a really long time to sell. They took about a year, I want to say, to sell. This was a bins find, so a little bit of money, a little bit of profit, maybe like $15, because these probably cost about just $1 or $1.50. Overall, though, I think this is probably an item I would only pick up again if it was new with tags. Good flip here. Collars & Co. is the brand. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. This is a 2XL with some sort of geometric pattern going through. And this sold for $40. It's new with tags, as you can see. Now, I did buy a box of these new with tags for, can't remember. I think it was, they averaged out to about $9 each. I think the box was $3.60. And I've been selling these off pretty steadily. This one was one I expected to be kind of on the higher end because, of course, it is a 2XL. It's got a pretty cool pattern. Some of the, the smalls and the mediums, not going to sell for as much. Some of the colors are like magenta. I don't think those are going to command as much as obviously the 2XLs. But good brand to know here, Collars & Co. Good flip here, Anne Klein, new with tags, women's seersucker shirt dress sold for $45 on Poshmark. Now, I did get this for free, so all profit here on this one, and it sold quick. This sold in just about a week. Sold this Brooks Brothers white pinpoint Oxford for $27. Now, this item did have a little bit of damage. I don't even want to say damage. It was just like a little stain, and I can't remember where it was. I think it was like behind the shoulder. It was in a place you could barely see. It was like under the arm or something. So this was a $5 buy cost. It sold in about 2 months. So I think that this is a pretty, I'll say that this one is a win considering the damage and being able to sell it as quick as it did. Sold this J. Crew new with tags women's black pencil skirt. Now this here is a wool blend, pretty good size. I think it's a size 8, and this sold in about a month, somewhere around there. It was a $5 buy cost. The woman, she sent me an offer for $20. I think I had this listed at $30 maybe, and I countered at $25. She came back at $23, and I just went ahead and accepted. Sold this FootJoy men's polo, green striped polo, for $18. That does have this Harbor Shores Lake Michigan logo on it. I'm not too familiar with that. I think when I bought this, I believed it was pretty exclusive. It was something that was really going to boost the value. That was definitely not the case because this took about 7 months or so to sell, and this was a $5 buy cost. Sold these Gap new with tags women's chino pants for $27. This was a $5 buy cost here, and these took about 6 months to sell. Not a super awesome or super fast mover right here, but this is something steady. People will need stuff like this, especially around the holidays where people are looking to buy new with tag stuff as gifts. So overall, a pretty decent flip on this one. Sold this new with tag Nike men's golf shirt, polo shirt, for $22. I think this was listed at $27 or $28, and this took a very long time to sell. It took about 10 or 11 months to sell at a $5 buy cost. This kind of surprised me. I would have thought that these would go pretty easily in that 25 to 30 range, but it's just not the case. I was getting tons of lowball offers at like $10, $12, $13, constantly having to reject them. Finally, when the $22 offer came through, it was like the first respectable one, so I went ahead and accepted. Sold this Brooks Brothers men's white pinpoint Oxford for $28. I believe that was an offer. I think I had this listed at $31, and someone sent an offer at $28. Don't really see that too often. Usually people are trying to get, if they send an offer, it's something very low, or sometimes they hit the minimum on these, and I usually see offers around like 25 or 26, or people just buy them outright. So this was a $5 buy cost. These will make you, a little bit of money, and this was pretty quick. It sold in just about a month.